Previous on Dark.
Alisa announced that the uninvited guests had let themselves in as a muffled bang sounded from the entrance. Gladstock led the charge, and most of you followed him, while the Syrian brothers and Spring climbed through a hole in the wall in the Holovox chamber and led to the entrance via an alternate route. As battle was joined, you heard the officer in charge leading the men who stormed the mansion. He yelled, "Kill those two!" as Siegfried and Gladstock moved into his line of sight. Meanwhile, Les, Pench, and Trantia began to move towards the fray from the infirmary. The intruders used choke grenades at first, trying to subdue your team, but quickly switched to a combination of web and frag grenades when they realized most of you wore respirators, and one of them managed to web his own colleague. Spring burst into action, blasting 3 of the men to pieces. I believe it was actually 4 of the men to pieces with a heavy shotgun. Vernetta put a plasma pistol to use for the first time, vaporizing the arm of one man. Gaius charged in, bolt pistol booming, as grenades bounced off his heavy armor before switching to his mace, taken from the heretic Somnus Halbrel, and smashing the arm to pieces of one of the intruders. Siegfried made good use of the blind grenades he'd been carrying forever, effectively putting a number of enemies out of action, tipping the odds closer towards the favor of the heavily outnumbered defenders of Mesron's home. He then switched to his power sword, butchering one man before moving to engage the officer who had ordered his men to take Gaius alive. Canni, who, due to his sheer bulk, took some time to enter the fray, did so in style as he hurled a frag grenade, killing one man and badly wounding 4 others. He then ran past Siegfried, calling him a slag as he passed by, before he charged into another man, roaring and trying to grapple with him, but the man managed to resist Canni's fearsome strength. Otto fared poorly, firing only a single shot before being hit by an enemy frag grenade and then blasted by a burst of high-powered lasgun fire. The adept fell, screaming to the floor as the energy blast ignited his armor. Praxis swung his Aquila-topped mace with righteous fury, striking multiple times but failing to penetrate the armor of his foe, but his final swing crushed the chest of his opponent. Therinus took cover in the temple with Spring, drawing Bessie, his shotgun, and watching in horror as his brother was felled by a frag grenade blast. His return, that's the second time Titulos has been taken by a frag grenade.
It did drop the first 2 on himself.
Yeah, that's true. His return fire killed his brother's attacker, and he screamed in anger and rage. Gladstock didn't seem his usual self, his snarls of rage and anger sounding utterly human for once as he blasted with his hand cannon, before using it to pistol whip a man repeatedly, before finally blowing the man away at point-blank range. Some of you noticed Gladstock take damage from las fire and realized that, unlike the last time he was wounded, he seemed to bleed rather than shredding small metallic worm-like appendages. At one point, he touched one of the intruders, and although previously you'd all witnessed his ability to simply dissolve flesh, this time nothing happened. So, in his frustration, he grabbed hold of another man and slammed him into the floor, pinning him there. Trantia came sprinting from the infirmary, her blade slashing out at one of the men holding a bulky grenade launcher. She reached out and touched the man's weapon, causing it to jam before becoming surrounded by enemies. Incredibly, she got out of the cluster of enemies by running up the wall, dropping down behind her target, poised to strike, but something gave her pause, and a thick, greasy feeling filled the mansion, and somewhere something screamed as it broke through the veil of reality. Les came lumbering down the corridor behind Trantia, swinging his hammer, and Pench, surprisingly, followed behind him, yelling to Canni to brace himself while wielding a fancy pistol, but Pench found himself cut off from Canni, so he shot Les instead, and as the ghost fire quickened Les's pace, the armourer charged into battle, smashing a man down with 2 strokes of his mighty hammer. Pench retreated into a side room and voxed that something was coming down the corridor and began to laugh maniacally to himself. Meanwhile, Siegfried had found himself in a power blade duel with the leader of what appeared to be Lord Elden's men. The pair exchanged blows, and Siegfried wounded the man, but struggled to avoid the strange, flexible blade that curved around his defences, striking him in the head, the blow blinding him. However, with his incredible reflexes, Siegfried managed to draw a stim and injected himself. His vision began to clear as he swung at the officer, slicing across his chest. "Impressive," said the officer, before knocking Siegfried's weapon from his grasp and poising to strike again. Gaius barreled into the man from behind and crushed him with a single sweeping blow with his mace. "Impressive," replied Lord von Morton. A grenade knocked Spring from her feet, dazing her as she slammed into the wall in the far corner of the room, and a trio of troopers that were near Trantia and Les began to back away from the corridor, yelling warnings of "Sweet Emperor, what on terror is that?" As a foul denizen of the warp, with red skin and an elongated head covered in horns, rapidly approached from behind Les, who seemed oblivious to the creature's presence. The battle still rages on. Otto and Tichelos are both down, and they don't appear to be moving. Spring is down too, although the thief girl still stirs, appearing to be simply stunned on the floor. Praxis and Gladstock stand in the middle of the foyer, Praxis' mace dripping with blood and brain matter, while Gladstock has one of Lord Elden's men pinned to the floor. The hybrid snarls into the man's face as bright red blood drips from the wounds in the interrogator's torso. Siegfried stands behind a pillar, feeling the rush of the stim coursing through his veins. His sword lies on the floor a few meters away. Gaius stands over the body of Lord Elden's officer, whom he has just smashed down with his maul, probably saving Siegfried's life. Canni grapples with another trooper, roaring into the man's face in rage. Trantia stands motionless, a shell-shocked look on her face as she stands behind the man with the grenade launcher in his hands. It's as though she's just realized something terrible has happened. Les bellows in the corridor, roaring in triumph at having struck down one of Elden's men, oblivious to the danger approaching from behind, and Pench is somewhere, laughing and gibbering into the comm about something horrific having just run past him. And on that note, let's fight some shit. Okay.
Yes.
You should have the map.
Okay. I'll load up a second.
It's taking mine a while to load tonight. There we go. So before we go any further, there's a few things that need to be done. The rule for the bloodletter is it's its appearance that causes fear. So therefore, those of you that have not seen it are not currently affected by fear. Its aura that makes the fear harder has a 20-meter range. Some of you are in that, some of you are out of that, but it doesn't apply until you lay eyes upon the demon. Some demons have a general aura of fear that you can feel. This particular one, it's sight-based. So on that note, I would like Praxis, Canni, and Gladstock to make an awareness test. So Hayden, you were playing Praxis before, so if you can do Praxis, and it's at -10 due to blockage of line of sight.
I'm rolling it on a
Canni, same for you, because there's a couple of guys in between you and the bloodletter. And I will do Gladstock's. Or did I already do Gladstock? I pre-rolled some stuff to save a bit of time. I didn't do Gladstock's. So let's do Mr. Gladstock. Mr. Gladstock, see me a demon. Ooh. At -10. Canni. So Gaius has not seen. I mean, to be fair, Gaius is at a bit of a wonky angle to see down the corridor anyway.
I haven't rolled anything for Gaius. Just.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're not. You shouldn't have done. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You did it for Praxis, didn't you? Praxis has not seen.
Game's over anyway. So
that's all right. It doesn't matter. I know who it was. Canni, you do see. Fucking Gladstock has not seen. This changes everything. Oh dear, I was fully expecting Gladstock to see that. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right, okay, so.
It's not loaded up on my screen yet. Anyway, the map. But I can tell you what I'll do. See if you can move me.
Yeah, we're not too we're not all the way to you yet. There's still a few
You've
bits
got
and
to
pieces.
scroll around to find it if you've just got a black screen, Johnny. It's like
Yeah, it might be all up in the
hidden in-
corner or something.
Yeah,
like
Got it.
Should
Yeah,
be
yeah,
at the
yeah.
right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Perfect. Thank you.
top of the round. Hang on. So I've done a few other awareness tests. For the troopers and the heavies that are nearby. So, Canni,
Hello?
I would like you to make a fear test at -30. Because you are within the bloodletter's radius and you have seen it. And
Okay, so willpower 30, modifier -.
Oh dear.
I'm going to use a.
Okay.
That's a lot of failure.
That's a bit better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good move.
So +10 for every degree of failure, so it's only +10. So give me a D100 roll, +10. +71. You are frozen by terror. You may take no actions until you snap out of this, and after snapping out of it, all your tests are at -10 for the rest of the encounter, and you gain D5 insanity points. If you could roll that, please.
I want to re-roll that. Could be worse, couldn't it? Don't want to burn both my fate points straight away.
Could be a lot worse.
I'm going to keep that.
Okay.
Get one
So
insanity.
just one insanity point, if you can add that for me. Who else has? So Praxis failed as well. Would you? How much did Praxis fail by? Was it 4 degrees? Oh no, Praxis failed to see it, didn't he? So Praxis doesn't have to do anything. Neither does Gladstock.
Nice burger.
Cheers, man.
The rest of the guys have either seen it or reacted accordingly. Anyway, okay. So this doesn't happen because of that.
Wearing like that's kind of LARP gear. It also makes him look like a ninja. It also looks very warm as well, doesn't it?
It's really warm.
Yeah,
Like perfect.
So it's Mr. Gladstock's turn at the top of the round. So much was based on Gladstock passing that awareness test. He still has hold of this guy on the ground. He's going to. Nice. I'd already planned what he would do, which doesn't. Some of it changes because he hasn't seen the demon, but some of it does not. He's going to use swift attack. So he gets to make 2 attacks. And he's got hold of this guy. He's slammed him into the ground, and his attack is basically to just lift the guy up by the front of his armor and slam him into the ground twice. So for the first one, that's a hit. The guy's prone, so he can't dodge.
Has he got a quick attack?
Second one, yeah, he's got swift attack. Yeah.
So
So that's 2 hits, slamming this guy's head into the ground. Guy does have armor. It is a primitive attack. So the first one is 6. Let's write this down. Guy's armor will be. And the next one is.
Baffleberker.
So he takes 8 wounds, that guy.
Work, Gladstock.
No, that's wrong because it's unarmed. So he takes 4 wounds. He was on 3. So he's down to 0. Just going to make a toughness test for that guy. Okay. He'd already taken 2 levels of fatigue. Because they were unarmed strikes, he's taken another 2. He's unconscious. Gladstock has knocked a man out.
Yeah.
The whole time, with each slam into the ground, he roars into this man's face. And although it is definitely a human roar and not the roar you might have heard Gladstock make before, he seems thoroughly fucking pissed off at this guy. Next up is Lord von Morton. You do not know the bloodletter is there, but I would like you to make an awareness test at -10, please.
Okay, so is it site-based, is it? Or awareness?
Didn't Pench comes over that had seen a monster coming our way?
He said he'd seen something run past, something red. Okay. So what you notice right now, I mean, you haven't got your sword. I think you should be able to see your sword on the map. Your sword's over there. You do have the Spitfire bolt pistol. I checked that. You can see the guy next to Praxis, who is definitely out of it. You can see the guy by Canni. Well, there's 2 guys near Canni. There's a guy near Tranty. You can see the troopers down in the corner. And you can also see this heavy that's down towards the bottom of the foyer. It stood next to the column. Other than that, you don't notice anything in particular untoward at the minute, so I would like you to act as though you don't know all the other shit that's going on is going on.
Okay, I'm going to...
Oh, by the way, you technically are fatigued, but you stimmed, and you are stimmed for the next 19 rounds.
Okay, cool. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn with my Spitfire bolt pistol, and you see that trooper that's marked in red.
That's the one that's unconscious on the floor that Gladstock.
Oh right, I won't bother then. In that case, I'm just going to thank Gaius. I'm just going to look at him and go, "Good time, thank you, saved my life." And then I'm going to reach down and grab the unholster the pistol, get the pistol out of the man's holster. The other pistol, and then grab his sword as well.
Okay.
Loot, and I want to search this guy in front of me.
Okay. Make in the middle of a fight searching test. So it's just it's a search test in combat.
Okay. What do I roll for that?
It's on your character sheet. Search in basic skills.
Okay. Search. Ah, yes. Okay. Oh, which is terrible.
Okay. So so as you have quick draw, I'll let you take up the sword as a free action. For half an action, you can swipe his pistol out of his holster.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Roll a D3 for me, please.
D3. It's like //
/R space D3.
Space D. 2.
You reach into a pocket because you see something bulging in his pocket, and you drag it out, and it's about a foot long, and it looks a little bit like a flashlight, but on one end it's got a couple of metal prongs. Make a tech use test if you have tech use. If not, make a half your intelligence test because it's not really a tech use test.
Half intelligence test. So modify. So with the modifier, I put like
just roll it and tell me if you just roll against your intelligence. Tell me if it. Oh well, we can tell that.
I
Don't we?
failed.
Yeah.
I failed.
You don't know what this thing is.
Okay.
Auspex. It's not. You would have recognised an Auspex. You've seen one before. So that would be your turn. Next up is Spring. Spring is prone. She's not unconscious, so she's going to stand for half her movement. Has she got line of sight? Let's have a quick nosy. No, she has not. And she's going to... What would Spring do? Let's think about this.
Bum rush in and try and get herself killed.
Yeah, but she's taken a bit of a blow there, you see. So I'm thinking, would she do that? She's quite badly wounded. She's just got up. She's no longer prone. She's also fatigued. She's going to move back into cover where she came from and look at Theranos and just go, "Fucking hell, that hurt. My head's ringing." Next up, Gaius Mortalis.
Okay, Gaius is going to turn around and chuck a frag grenade. To the bottom.
Okay, so it'll be half an action to... It would be half an action to... You don't have quick draw, do you?
I do.
You do?
Yes,
yeah. Okay, so you can draw a grenade for free.
I'll half an action my my weapon away.
You're going to put your mace away,
floor.
yeah?
Yes, that's not on the floor, and then throw a grenade.
Okay, so yeah.
Cool.
Show me exactly. Draw a little.
I have.
Have you? Where are you looking?
I'm looking there. If that gets those guys without hitting Canni in the grenade radius. There's a little red square.
Oh yeah.
Running about. I'm thinking around about there to miss Canni.
Is it this one here that I've just put the purple circle round?
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Anyway,
so make a ballistic skill. No, it's a strength test, isn't it, with a grenade?
Strength.
No, it's not. What am I talking about? It's a ballistic skill test. Strength is the range, yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's easily in short range. So you'd get a +10 for the range. You'd get a +10 for a single shot, I suppose. It's +20 to your ballistic skill, please.
Okay, I'm just get there. Boom. +20. Doom. Boom. Boom. Yay.
Yep, that lands exactly where you want it. I was going to say roll individually for where it hits them, but there's no fucking point because they've got armor everywhere anyway. So 1, 2, yeah, they're all in the blast. Blast 4, I believe, frag, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, and even if it's 3, they're all in range. I'm going to change how I did the grenade thing last time because I did it for everyone with one roll. I want you to do it individually.
Okay.
But I'm going to do something a bit weird here. So for the first guy that's closest to the blast, roll damage on a frag grenade, please. Which I fucking cannot remember what it is. Is it D10 +3? 2D10, that's it, sorry, yeah.
I'll just roll a D10 twice. Okay, advanced roller. Roll.
Just go
/ yeah.
2D10.
And the 10 for Righteous Fury, by the way, only counts on the first of the two. So, okay, so your first one is a 9, and your next one 14. The third one is the lowest of the guys. He's going to be a bit different because he's sort of a bit behind his mate. So he's going to get a little bit of protection off his mate.
1D10 or 2D10?
2D10 is the damage rolls the same. He just gets a little bit more protection.
Oh, he's got quite a bit then. He's all right. And then the last guy, I guess.
Yeah, the heavy guy as well. Yeah. Where the fuck is the frag grenade gone? Al, do you know what frag grenade app is off the top of your head?
I don't think it has any app.
No, I don't think it does. But if you could check for me while I quickly work this out. Thank you. So 9 minus. Oh, it'd be more because it's frag.
Seems as
Yeah,
everybody's
no
usually paid.
pen on a frag.
Yeah, that would make sense. So it's 5, 6, 6. The third guy's, I'm going to give him a bit more protection off his mate. So what did you roll for the third one? 6. That does nothing. And the last one,
7.
7. Yeah, that doesn't do anything either. But the first 2 troopers, didn't mean to do that.
Arabian Dragon Prince, Johnny.
I know, that's what I was going for.
The first guy only takes
Crusader.
1 wound, because they're wearing flak armor, and flak armor's pretty good against this sort of shit. The second guy takes 6 wounds, though.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, nice.
I'm happy with a bit of damage spread.
Next up is Miss Calamere, who, by the way, Alan, in the last game, spent her last turn aiming.
Okay.
She has a +20 aim, and she was aiming at the heavy by the column. I don't know if you can see the line I drew.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Still there.
that's what she was aiming at.
Okay. Well, in that case, I shall. There's no way I can improve further on that, so I will just shoot him.
Okay. So +20 for aiming, +10 for single shot, +10 for range,
Yeah.
+40.
+10 for red dot, and
Yep.
minus 20 for lack of proficiency.
Yeah, so +30.
Okay.
Come on, Vernetta. Yeah.
Looking good.
Roll damage on the plasma pistol, please.
Awesome.
15 with a pen of.
Nice. Just mount that down. So that's. Oh. It's 15 with a pen of 6, so it ignores his armor. He's only toughness 3, so whatever wounds he's got left, which was only 3, he's fucking dead. He gets vaporized. That's Vernetta's second plasma pistol kill.
Yeah.
She still has half an action, I believe.
Okay, there's no one else really about anymore, so I think I'll make a half move.
Okay. I'll get rid of that little line.
So half move, I think it's 2. Half move 2, so I'll move. Oh, actually, is Otto? Has she got
Otto's down. Otto's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, he's down. Pretty, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to. Got a medikit. Doesn't have a medikit, but she does. So I'd like to use my half action to draw my medkit.
Well, funny you should mention that, because Miss Calamere does not need to draw a medikit unless you want to. A medikit gives her a +20, but she also has a Medicae Mechadendrite, which is always drawn.
So she's actually got a Mechadendrite in now, does she?
Yeah, none of you have actually seen it because it's always under her robes, but she's basically got a tail. She's gone full furry. So she can manipulate that at no action cost. It's got the same reach as her.
I'd like to check Otto, check his wounds, and stabilize him if required. And yeah, I'd just like to look at Otto. Rest of my go.
Okay. So what you want to make a medical assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Make a Medicae roll for Vernetta at +10.
Yeah. Looks fine. Let's walk it off, Otto.
Yeah, he's probably just unconscious. Yeah, he'll be all right. He's just he's got his armor's a bit melted and sticking to his skin, but he'll be all right. He'll shrug it off.
I'll use a fate point, Dave.
Okay.
Right, it's Johnny's NPCs. So let's have a second look, shall we? Oh, you shit, Vernetta. Still a fail.
Yeah, she's. I mean, she's only got basic Medicaid skills. She's not a fucking pro surgeon. She can tell looking at Otto, to be honest, that he is in a bad way, but it's hard to tell because literally his clothes and his armor ignited. The flames have gone out, but she's not really sure there's much she can do for him right now.
Okay. All right, that's Vernetta then.
That's going to be another heavily flame-scarred NPC. You're doing well. Next up.
It's an excuse to encase them all in armor.
Next up is my new friend.
Oh, you've found the thing as well, have you?
Yeah, well, I saw you fiddling around with it, and I thought that's a good idea.
Show.
We haven't got light things on our other tokens anymore. I've only got one on Praxis and not one on Gaius Mortalis.
The night vision should still be working for Gaius.
No.
Did he ever have a light on? I don't
Yeah, he was always night vision.
Oh,
One,
yeah, that's
two,
night vision then.
three,
Sorry, yeah. It's because Praxis got a light.
6, 7, 8, 9. Cannot charge. 10, 11, 12.
Holy shit. What the fuck is that?
That is the bloodletter.
Oh, yes.
It basically
It smells psychers.
runs straight past Big Boned Les and the heavy in the door and comes screaming and slavering, drool dripping from its mouth with this huge two-handed axe that seems to drip fire that turns to blood as it falls off the blades, and it just runs bearing down on Trantia. It doesn't seem to give a shit about anyone else. Luckily, it can't charge. That was a run, so it can't hit. Everyone who hasn't already seen it, that now has line of sight. So, Canni, you don't have to make another roll because you've already seen this thing. And this is a moment where Canni's brave, but Canni's never seen anything like this. I would like Siegfried.
Does a stim negate any fear?
No.
Does slaw?
I don't believe so,
frenzy.
but it's not your turn, so you can't take it anyway. So it's a fear test at -30, please. So willpower test at -30.
Holy. My willpower is.
Let's roll a 1 then.
Just roll and hope you roll as low as you humanly can. Oh, that would have been so good if you didn't have a -30.
Can I burn a fate point to do it? Does that permanently burn it?
Burn it, yeah. That would be gone forever. That fate point. If you want my
advises you not to burn.
If you want my advice as a GM, I would not burn a fate point for that. Not in this particular situation.
No, I won't.
I would not change that either because that's only 2 degrees of failure.
Yeah.
If you're going to fail a fear test, it's best to roll as low as you can. So now I need you to roll a D100, and we have a +20 to it.
Okay. D100 +20. I'll put the +20 on here.
Huh?
Okay. Bollocks.
Snake.
I'm gonna use a fate point.
Okay.
Good idea.
Bit better.
Bit better, yeah. Right. Reeling with shock, you back away from the thing that confronts them. The character cannot willingly approach the object of your fear, but may otherwise act normally. So you can't approach it, but you can still act normally. But you are -10 to everything. You gain 1 insanity point. If you could add that on to your character sheet for me, please.
I'd love to.
So you are -10, and it's not related to anything to do with your
I now
stim.
have 14 insanity points. What does that mean?
Nothing. You make a test every 10, and you made a test when you got to 10, and you were okay. Basically, when you get to 10, you make a test, and if you fail enough, you start to gain mental trauma.
Oh.
But at the minute, you're all right because you did one when you got to 10. So you're all right, actually. That's pretty good outcome, I would say.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm going to do Trantia because I'm going to work my way across the screen to make it easier for me. Trantia sees this thing bearing down on her and maybe pulls some bullshit. Who knows? What's she got? She's got a few things. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, that's pretty good. Yeah, she might pass this.
Trampier.
She does not pass this.
Reroll with faint point, Trampier.
Yeah, she's going to have a go.
Make us spend bionics in vain. Oh.
That's even worse. If you notice, Tranti is only taking the test at -20, not -30. For reasons. Okay, so I'll roll a D100 for her, and I'll do this in the chat so you can see that. 34 plus 70. Fainting dead away, Trantia keels over and remains unconscious for 1d5 rounds, which of course is a 3.
That's a mercy, really. Let's face it.
She's shaken, and all tests are -10 till the end of the encounter. So, Trantia, let me just modify her. She has fainted for 3 rounds. She also takes 2 insanity points. But don't worry.
That's the least of it.
Madness is an old friend of Trantia's.
It's the least of a worry.
It is. I think Trantia is possibly the highest insanity point character across all 3 campaigns. Oh no, she's not. No, there's someone else.
She's freaking crazy.
Okay, so that's Trantia on her turn.
Be Mesmer on, won't it?
Canni already reacted to the bloodletter. Those guys have already reacted to the bloodletter. Has one of them not seen both of the bloodletter? And the trooper by Canni has not yet seen it. So the trooper by Canni is definitely no, because he's been grappled by Canni, and I've already made a -10 awareness test for him. Okay, I've pre-rolled so much shit that now he's worthless. Morton has done it. Gaius, I would like you to make a fear test, please, at -.
I'm immune to fear.
Oh wait, you're fearless.
I'm fearless, yes. I'm immune.
That changes everything.
Is fearless different to jaded?
Yes, fearless. Jaded means you don't gain. Jaded means you don't gain insanity points from mundane horror, which is basically anything that isn't demonic or alien in origin. Fearless means you do not have to take fear tests at all.
And it just means I have to make a roll of willpower if I want to disengage a combat.
Yeah, there's a downside to it that if you get into a fight, you have to stay in it. So if you get in a fight with a demon prince, you have to stay in it, basically.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, Gaius is fine. The trooper by, well, he's unconscious. Praxis. Did Praxis fail his awareness test? He did, didn't he? But now he's got line of sight. And there's nothing, he's not in combat, so Praxis sees the demon. Hayden?
Yeah. Well, my turn.
No, I would like for Praxis, I would like you to make a fear test at -30. His willpower is only 33.
I can.
Okay, so that's a fail by 4 degrees. I would like you to roll D100 plus 40.
Oh,
So that's
so
108. However, Praxis has Insanely Faithful, so I would like you to roll that again, and you can choose whichever one you would rather have.
Awesome.
I like
Oh, yeah. He is insanely faithful.
Yeah, so 41. 41 for Praxis. Reeling with shock, character backs away from the thing that confronts him, cannot approach, may act normally with a minus 10.
Don't you have a rule if you roll a 1 though, you get like an overrounding success, whatever.
Like
Yeah.
his faith in the Emperor might, like, sort of, this is like a sign.
Yes, but it doesn't override the effect.
Result
It's just an
table,
additional
okay.
effect. And I'm going to basically say, because of Praxis' history, he does not gain the 1 insanity point he would have got.
Yep.
He still can't approach it. He's still at minus 10. But he might
Shoot
he
it.
might be able to do something else on his turn as a result of that.
Cool.
Just want to check something. Oh, hang on. It would have only been 3 degrees of failure because Praxis has pure faith. So he doesn't get the minus 10 from demonic presence. So that changes that.
31.
And also, just a second. He can spend a fate point to ignore fear.
That's
You're in
Well,
control.
Not burn one, spend one.
Spend one.
I'll spend one then. It's a good
You can
call.
do that as well, but you don't need to because you also have fearless.
Yeah.
So Praxis has burnt his fate point, spent his fate point. He is not affected by the demon at all.
Yeah, it's quite a nice skill being fearless, actually.
Yeah, it's
Demon presence.
the only thing is, it's one of those things
I've
that
got dark soul as well, haven't I?
yeah,
Which means I take
it's one of
half
those
the
skills
ability.
though that you can't really train fearless, so it's not something you can get out of class very easily. The only way to get it is by exposure to demons, unless it's in your class skills. So those that don't have it as an option can only get it by exposing themselves to demons, which will probably fucking kill them or send them mad long before that. Right, after
Ooh.
that, Theranos. Where's Theranos? Has Theranos got line of sight? Theranos has got line of sight. He's going to get a minus 10. Theranos has seen the demon. Definitely seen the demon. So Theranos is going to make the roll. But he's outside the radius, so it's only a minus 20. And he passes. Theranos is good. Spring probably wouldn't have seen it because she was running into the temple. Vernetta, I don't know if Vernetta's got line of sight there. Just a second. No, Vernetta has not got line of sight to the bloodletter. That pillar's in the way. Okay, so that's that was a ridiculously confusing and long-winded go for the bloodletter. Next up is Theranos, who has seen the demon and not afraid because he rolled a critical. Oh no, he didn't. He rolled a 3. I'm gonna neck this beer. Go and get another couple, and then I'll do Theranos' go.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, feel quite chuffed to spend all that stuff on trying to get myself not to run away. On shit.
Well spent.
Yeah. So
pretty much.
I don't know whether
Very
to try buff your like skills even though you're on fair test now, but I could give you my.
I've got a bit of a plan. I'm gonna take you by surprise with it. So
Well, on the other hand, I might just charge a bloodletter. See if I can get lucky and beat the shit out of it first thing.
I'm gonna do something in my turn that might help that quite a lot. So.
Okay,
Wonderful,
Theranos.
so let's see.
Theranos on his turn sees the demon and yells, "Fucking warp spawn! It's like Protessia again!" Fairness was doing something. Fairness is already aiming at one of these gentlemen down the bottom. He's going to carry on with his aim, and he's going to fire a single shot with his las gun. So that'd be plus 20 for aiming, plus 20 for a single shot, plus 10 for range. Sorry, plus 10 for a single shot. So plus 40 for Fairness. I think that's a miss, Fairness. Oh no, maybe not. Plus 40. So that would be 84. That's a hit in the leg, just with his really shit las gun. 5, 8, 5, 1. He does 1 wound to the guy he was aiming at. Over here. Next up is the heavies. One of the heavies is you can combat with Trantier, who I forgot to roll a test for, actually, and I'm fairly certain I don't need to make an awareness test for the bloodletter because it's right in front of him. So I'm going to make a willpower test at minus 30, which he fails. 64, so that would be 6 degrees of failure. 92. So 152. Character crumples to the ground for 1d5 rounds, sobbing and babbling and tearing at his own flesh. That sounds familiar. That was what Quintius did, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a bad dog.
Yeah. So this guy.
Good times.
Good times. The best of times.
The best of times.
He is prone for 2 rounds. He's also minus 20 to everything. And he gains insanity points, which I'm not going to worry about because who gives a fuck if he's got fucking insanity points, frankly.
No.
I want to know about his backstory, Dave.
I'll be perfectly honest, Alan. He does not have one. He is a pleb.
Generic goon.
Most of the named people you'll meet in the game do have a backstory, but if he's called Heavy or Trooper, you can be pretty assured he doesn't have a backstory. His name's Kevin. He likes long walks on the beach. He has a wife and 4 children. No.
Not for long.
This guy here, this other Heavy on his turn, the one below Canni, I've already done his fear test because he spotted the bloodletter before it came out of the corridor. He is frozen. He freezes in fear and just stares at this fucking thing as it comes through. The other Heavy is dead because Vernetta vaporized the cunt. Over the Vox, you hear, "It's all right, Killian. It's all right. Just remember the psst. Oh, the sweet bliss." Then it's Trantier's turn. Trantier's
up than now. There's never been a better time.
Trantier's fainted.
War power.
Trantier has fainted. There's not a lot she can do right now.
Okay.
Snooze. Does she snore? Audible.
She's not asleep. She's just collapsed.
Oh, right.
The trooper that Canni has got hold of cannot resist Canni's grapple because he is frozen by fear. At the bottom, the ones that got caught in the grenade, one of them has collapsed to the floor, gibbering in fear. That one is still standing. He's at minus 10 and he's a bit freaked out. And he's actually going to shoot at the bloodletter. But he's at minus 10, so single shot. No, he's going to go semi-auto for full action. So plus 0. Plus 10 for range, minus 10 for that, yeah. And he fucking hits the bloodletter. Well played. Doesn't do any damage because he rolled a 1. The final trooper also, the one against the wall at the bottom of the screen also freezes in fear. Okay, Canni.
Hello.
Canni, my good man. You are currently frozen, correct?
Mm-hmm. I'll try and break out of it.
So you will still need. There's a bit of a problem here. You still need to make a test at -30, but it's also a -10 because of the effect of the fear. So you're at -40.
So what's the -30 from? Sorry.
-20 for the demon's fear rating of 3, and a plus another -10 for its demonic presence, and then another -10 for your the effect of your last fear roll, I believe. Yeah. So -40 in total.
So I mean, I think it should only be at -20, even though. I don't think the demon's effects a snap out of it, does it? It's just for the fear test.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely right. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, snap.
You're right. So it'd be it would just be at -10 then, wouldn't it?
What's the -10 for?
For the effect of the fear that you've already had for the freeze.
Yeah, that's when you after you snap out of it, you're getting a -10.
Oh yeah, correct. Well played out.
GM off.
It's a house roll, Al. Roll at -60.
I'm sorry, I wanted mathematical chances.
That's fine. That's fine.
Test.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I still only got like a 3 in 10 chance of passing.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing. That's all we get.
Fingers crossed for you, Al.
Close.
Oh,
Yeah.
close, but no start. I'd like to use my second fate point.
Okay.
Even worse. So go. So I have no action. I'm just gonna scream. Go. No, it's not natural.
However, you are frozen, still holding on to this guy because you had hold of him when you failed the initial test.
Okay. So it's the life traded out of this guy.
No, he's just literally got hold of him. He wasn't doing any damage. He was just holding on to his armor. So next up is Big Bone fucking Les. Les is frenzied. Les is immune to pretty much everything right now. He's also incredibly fast, and he charges. Les has encountered demons before, so I'm gonna.
Not natural.
Les screams in rage as he sees the bloodletter run past him and screams, "You fucking want some? I've fucking seen you before, you prick!" And he runs past the heavy into the bloodletter. Les is fearless right now because, you know, he's scared of leaving the armory, but he's not scared of a fucking demon. That makes sense. Where's Leslie's character sheet gone? There it is. Okay, so Leslie's going to make an all-out attack. I'm sorry.
No, there's
Leslie's
demons
gonna make a
outside the
charge.
armory, doesn't he now?
Yeah. He's not afraid of demons, mate. Demons aren't the issue for Les.
He's afraid of social encounters and
yeah, pretty
outside
much.
spaces.
So, plus 20 for a charge. That's pretty sweet. He's rolled a 10. So that's a hit. Does he have any fancy shit? No, he does not. Nothing that's not already on his sheet.
Of Iron Robot Fists of Death.
I tell you what Les does have, which is incredible. He's got a talent called Rites of Ignition. And when he's doing tech use, he can use his strength instead of intelligence.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool.
That's very cool.
No maths needed here.
Okay, so damage roll for Les. He's rolled a 9, 10, 11.
Whack it till it's ready. That's
16.
Big Bird Legs. That's how I imagine he does things.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. 16.
Takes 2 wounds off him.
Where's his armor?
His
So
armor's
4, 12. He barrels into this bloodletter that's bearing down on Trantia and just smashes it over the back of the head. with his hammer, and you see a chunk come off one of its long horns that curve back, and it round at him. He does 4 wounds to the bloodletter.
Nice.
And Les goes, "Yeah, you fucking won, Sam." Les has encountered demons before. I mean, don't get me wrong, if he wasn't stimmed up to the eyeballs, he'd be going fucking berserk right now and running away. But next up is Praxis. Hayden, you have Praxis. Praxis, what did Praxis do?
Praxis is okay.
So Praxis is fine. He spent a fate point, didn't he? You can do what you want with him.
Well, I'm in combat with this troop in front of me, so...
No, you're not. He's unconscious. He's the one that Gladstock has knocked out.
Okay, Praxis doesn't move that fast, so he's going to have to make a full run. Praxis, full run.
Okay.
What was it? Agility 2. So his run... Was that?
His run's fucking 12, yeah. No, yeah.
12.
Oh, yeah, no.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll just go move the screen.
I love my avatar as well, for this. It's cool. He's got 2 red eyes. That's awesome.
12. And that's where it's running to.
Cool.
Okay, cool. That's the end of that turn. Back to the top of the round. The mansion explodes and everybody dies. No. Don't be mean, David.
You're not called Alan.
I haven't even been mean yet. I don't know what you're saying.
Gaining insanity point in the other campaign.
Alan, you gave us
Mentioning
corruption
Alan.
points for Cotton Eye Joe. You do know there's going to be repercussions for that.
No, I do like the arms race going on.
Oh, it's not an
It was
arms
just a
race,
happy
Alan.
accident. It was just a coincidence.
It's
that
not an
Cotton Eye
arms
Joe was
race,
playing
Alan.
at the
It's
same
pure revenge.
time.
Just wait, I've got something planned just for you.
I
I
no
wouldn't be
regrets,
that
man.
petty, believe me, I wouldn't.
I have no regrets about my Cotton Eye Joe.
I enjoyed it, I'll be honest. But no,
the right time.
I would never intentionally alter something or do something in the game that would cause you harm as a matter of revenge. I might put something in your path that could cause you harm, but it would be your choice to take that.
Good. Well, I mean, all I'll say is that Canni's got the breaking strain of a Kit Kat, so if you put any sort of temptation in his way, then it's going to end badly for him.
I'm very aware of that. I've done it a few times, I think. But anyway, Mr. Gladstock, top of the round, looks up, can blatantly see the bloodletter now. He just goes, "Mortalis! Do what you were created for!" and points at the bloodletter, which is what he would have done if he'd passed his awareness test the last round. But anyway, and in the meantime, he
stop lobbing grenades around.
stands, reaches into his pocket, and he draws a pistol. And those of you that could see, which is probably only Siegfried, you have never seen a pistol like this. It's quite long. The angle of the grip is wrong. It's sloping too far back, so he has to sort of hold it like this, almost.
Yeah.
And it looks to be made of a strange, shifting metal that seems to writhe and move. And he draws that, and then he takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps forward with this pistol. Hang on, does he have quick draw? Do you have quick draw? Why won't you answer me, Gladstock? He does not have quick draw. So yeah, that's Gladstock's turn. Lord Von Morton.
I'm going to quick draw my what do you call it? Called. Hang on a second. Grapple gun.
You've already got the sword and pistol that you took off
I know.
the guy.
Okay. I'm going to quick draw my grapnel pistol. And then I'm going to fire it at the bloodletter.
What are you dropping?
I'm going to drop the pistol.
Okay. Which, by the way, was a rather fancy-looking las pistol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you've
I'll
drawn
get
it.
it in a minute. I'll get it in a minute.
You quick draw on that. You drop your las pistol. You quick draw the grapnel gun. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to fire it at the bloodletter.
Okay.
Okay.
Make a shot. So I'm going to say it's short range because I don't really know how that would work. I'm going to have to improvise the shit out of this. Plus 10 for range, plus 10 for a single shot.
Okay.
Are you aiming for your other half action?
I will.
Okay, so plus 30.
Okay.
It's technically a solid projectile weapon. Minus 10 for your general level of fear.
Yes.
That is a hit. Okay, roll a d10 for damage.
Okay. That's not what I'm grappling it for. I'm not going to unleash it. That's 5 for the.
This is just to see if it penetrates its hide. We've lost Johnny.
I'm here.
You fire the grapnel and it strikes the creature. What did you roll to hit? 30. It strikes the creature in the head, just goes dunk, and just bounces off the creature's armored hide and collapses to the floor.
Oh.
The line is still attached, obviously, to your grapnel gun.
Shit.
Spring. Spring is here.
I was going to try and get it around, try and wrap it up, and then sort of like, then run around the pillar and tie it to the pillar and try and draw it in. Get Canni.
Oh, I thought you were going to do I thought you were going to do a Hoth battle against the Atats and run round and round its legs.
I was thinking more of like a get over here from Mortal Kombat.
A bit like that, yeah. I was thinking that as well. That was sort of what I was hoping for. That's why I dropped the pistol, not the sword. You know what I mean? Because I was like,
I thought he might do that, but I also thought he wouldn't be that stupid to drag a bloodletter into melee.
Get over here!
Spring is going to shoot at this trooper at the bottom, so she's not in short range.
That could have been so awesome. It could have been so awesome, but it wasn't.
Is she minus anything? Yes, she's minus 10. So plus 10 to Spring, 29. That's a hit in the leg. She rolls an 8 for damage. Nice.
I'm flashing green.
Don't flash.
So
it's impolite.
Alan, I can see the flash going on.
So that's 12.
What's up, buddy?
I just thought you're squaring me off.
4.
I'd
8.
put the
5.
square on Gaius. Oh, don't worry.
Yep, so Spring does 5 wounds to the guy against the wall. Mr. Mortalis, it is your turn.
Okay. Good. Charge. I'm in range.
Okay.
7 spaces away. Okay. Attack.
So plus 20 for the charge. That is definitely a hit. It is going to try and parry you. Which it does. As you charge in, it's got its back to you, but its axe just comes back behind it, and you strike off the haft of the axe. It's a demon, so it doesn't really obey a lot of the same rules as everyone else. Vernetta.
So, say that there's not much I can do for Otto.
Not from what you saw, no. He's basically fucking out. He's not bleeding out or anything. He's just very badly burnt. He's technically on minus 10 wounds. He died, but he used a fate point. He's not going to get any worse. He's not going to get any better.
Okay, I will. I'll make a move with Vernetta. So her move is...
Vernetta Still hasn't seen the demon, has she? So, yeah.
Move 2, 4, 6, 12. Make a run. And then get herself in a little bit more useful. So
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Oh, is that guy there, trooper, or is he unconscious?
He's the unconscious one, yeah.
And I'm going to run to there.
Okay. Make an awareness test at -10 as you're running across there. She does not see the bloodletter at the minute because there's quite a few bodies between her and the bloodletter. There's a lot going on. She wouldn't probably be focused on it. Next up is the bloodletter. So the bloodletter has gone after Trantia, but both Les has hit it and wounded it. Gaius has hit it and been parried. So its attention has been drawn. I'm going to roll a d10 on a 1 to 5. It carries on going for Trantia. On a 6, 7, or 8, it goes for Les, who has wounded it. And a 9 or 10, it goes for Gaius. Goes for Trantia. Its focus is firmly on Trantia.
Does not like her for summoning it to this morsel plane.
Yeah, it's basically pissed off that it's been dragged there. And it's going all out attack. That is a hit. Oh dear, Trantia. Trantia is going to try and... what happened to Trantia? She fainted.
Oh, she's on floor.
She's prone.
Yeah. So it's going to roll damage.
Bye bye, Trantia.
Yeah. 14, 15.
Does that mean there's a spare plasma pistol kicking about?
No, Trantia doesn't have a plasma pistol.
Oh,
That's 20. Trantia, what's the app on the axe? There is no app.
What the fuck was that?
20, 16,
Stepped on a cat.
13. Oh, Trantia takes 13 wounds.
Yeah,
Shit.
you've only just got yourself fucking out of the infirmary.
Trantia is
So one way ticket right back.
hacked in the stomach where her liver should be. No, Trantia is hacked in the belly with this axe and technically dead. She has burnt her last fate point. And the demon roars in pleasure. Next up is Ferinus.
So much for saving Trantia, that didn't work.
If Gladstock had passed his awareness test, he would have yelled to Gaius a turn earlier, and Gaius would have been able to know the demon was there and done something about it. But maybe even used a fate point to use one of his special abilities and make sure everyone had a bit of a bonus. But who knows?
Couldn't mess it though.
Yeah, no, that's fair play. I agree with that. Ferinus is going to shoot at one of these troopers. He still hasn't got line of sight. 10 for aiming, 10 for single shot, 10 for range. He's going to fate point that. That's a hit. Ferinus. That's a hit for that guy. He's going to try and dodge. He fails. Ooh. 10, 9, 6. Yeah, he drops the guy that Spring had already wounded. Next up is the heavies. This guy is still on the floor, gibbering. This guy is not responding to my control. He's frozen. So... still frozen. And that's the only heavy. Next up is Pench, and you hear over the comm, Pench is just reciting nursery rhymes to himself in a hysterical voice. Next up is Trantia's turn. Trantia is technically fucking out of it. Then it's the troopers. The trooper that Canni has hold of still is still not doing anything. The two at the bottom. The first one, I don't know why I rolled for that. He's still prone. He is still capable of acting at -10. He's going to turn on Gladstock. That's a hit. Gladstock dodges. And that's it. That guy's unconscious. Canni.
Okay, I am going to try to break out.
Okay.
It's not natural.
It's not good enough, Canni. You're still gripped with fear. You can't, even though you've got hold of this guy, you can't take your eyes off this thing. And you recall a few days ago, although it's a few months ago in real life, you recall a few days ago asking what a demon was when Siegfried said that Gladstock was a demon, and it was explained to you roughly what a demon was, a thing that did not belong, a thing that had no place in this universe. And since then, you've had the explanation that Gladstock is not a demon. He's part human, part something else. And having seen this thing barreling down the corridor and hacking into Trantia, you think you finally begin to understand a little bit about what demons are. And they terrify you. Fat Les. Sorry. Big Boned Les. Big Boned Les is still frenzied.
Oh, well, it says heavy, big boneless.
Heavy man, big bone, fat Les. So he's all out attacking +30. He's got a +10 for his frenzy. He's got a -10 because of shit. So he's +30. That is a hit. The Bloodlight is going to try and parry. And it fails. He's also +10 strength. Nice. 8, 9, 10. 15 minus the demon's armor, minus his toughness. Les swings out with this hammer and once again smashes into the demon. And you see cracks form in its armor. It tried, it failed. Failed its parry.
Good.
You see this demon's arm crack and light, purplish green light spills out the crack in its hide. Next up is Praxis.
Good work, Les. Praxis is going to attack. He's going to charge the Bloodletter.
He can't charge, he's too close. It needs to be a minimum of 4 meters, but he can move in and make a normal attack.
Oh, if I knew that, I would have kept him 4 meters away, Dave. Can I keep him 4 meters away?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because I didn't realise that. So, there we are. I'll leave him that far and go. Boom.
Yeah, his Praxis charges in. Praxis would actually need to make another fear test while he's in the presence of this thing, because he's not already affected by it. So it'd be minus 20, yeah. He's immune to demonic presence. Yeah, so that's a fail. So before he makes his charge, this occurs. So roll a D100 and add 10. So move Praxis back to there. The light is still shining out of his ass.
47.
So 47. Reeling with shock, character backs away from the thing that confronts him. The character cannot willingly approach the object of his fear, but may otherwise act normally. So Praxis gains an insanity point. He's also at -10, and he cannot approach. So on his turn, you can't approach the demon, but you can do anything else, I
Get his pistol
suppose.
out, then half action, get his pistol out, and then shoot it.
Yep. It'll be you shooting into combat, though.
Yeah, I know. Not as good as it.
It's worth a pun. I believe.
Praxis Corpus.
Always worth a pun.
Right, okay, so I'm going to shoot it.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's out of point blank. So it's +10 for short range. It's +10 for a single shot, but it's -20 for shooting into combat. So it's just a flat ballistic skill roll.
Okay. Submit.
Oh, that's a shame.
I passed.
Yeah. I know, that's what I mean. It's a shame. I want this bloodletter to carve you all to pieces. So roll damage, 1d10 +3, I believe, for his pistol.
I just rolled a 1d10. So... 10.
Confirm the critical.
Boom. Oh, so 1d10. So I've got to roll.
I thought you'd done it then. Yeah. No, so it's just a d10 +3. So that's 13. It's a good shot, and it strikes true, but it ricochets off this demon's tough, otherworldly hide.
Demonic bitch.
I'm just going to go have a piss, grab a beer, and we'll start the top of the round.
I need to pee as well. I'm doing a different design on it.
Oh, very nice.
I think we should set up an order called the Order of the Dragon or Dracul. You know what I mean? So we can be like Death Knight, like, you know. And then I want to get turned into a vampire as well, because that'd be awesome. I just basically want to be Dracula. Anyway, let's just.
I want to be a ghost pirate, but you know.
Yeah, well, let's. You know, if I can become a vampire, if I get made into a vampire at the thing, then I could probably summon you. If we get you killed in some weird ritual, and you could be a ghost pirate. Fuck it, why not?
The possessed Boots Marley.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds awesome.
More Death Boots at the moment. It's a good title.
And I'm General Deathman.
General
Deathman, that's what I do. Whether it's my own death or not, you know what I mean? It's I am that
I'm looking forward to carving you all up at the one day.
Oh, I can't wait to change that attitude of my dual battle axe action. Can't wait.
You need to get some practice with him anyway.
Hey?
You'll need to get some practice with him.
I know I will, yeah. There'll be some fodder there, won't there? So,
yeah, there will be some fodder. I reckon Ro will catch on quick. He does martial arts a lot.
Yeah, he should do. Yeah, he should do if he's got like reflex stuff like that. He'll be all right. He might have an advantage over other members of our group because of that.
Yeah, probably.
So, Gladstock strides right up to this guy for half an action. And this guy is frozen, staring at the demon. Gladstock just strides up to it. He doesn't seem phased by the demon at all. And he just lifts this bizarre weapon that you see, points it at the guy's head at point blank range, and pulls the trigger. So it's point blank, single shot. He's not aiming, +40. That is only just... No, that's a fail. Gladstock's going to use a fate point. That's a hit. So that's 15 minus the armor. Okay. And anyone who's close by, Canni, you might see a bit of this. Siegfried, you probably do as well. The rest of you don't. This pistol just seems to blast bizarre-looking energy out of it. And as it strikes this heavy armored guy with a grenade launcher, it just seems to dissolve his flesh and then his bone and his armor until all that's left is a smoking pair of boots on the floor. Lord Von Morton.
Okay. I'm going to charge to the bloodlet. Can I quick draw my sword and charge into it? Or... Well, I've got the sword in my. I've got the sword.
I thought anyway. No, you can't approach it, can you?
Oh shit! Yeah, I can't.
Shoot it.
Yeah, I'll shoot it. I'll quick draw my Spitfire bolt pistol and have a shot at it.
Okay, so plus 10 for range. Are you aiming?
Yes.
So plus 10 for range, plus 10 for a single shot, plus 10 for aiming, minus 20 for shooting into combat. So that's just plus 10.
Okay. Just right. Ooh!
That is a fail.
I'm going to burn a fate point to re-roll that. I don't want to kill any of my own guys.
Burn?
Yeah.
Just use a fate point?
Yeah, he's using it. I know what you meant. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm going to burn it.
I thought you'd already used your fate point.
I have, but can I burn one?
No, you can't burn one for that, Johnny. Burn is to automatically pass a skill test. Okay. But it would be a fucking ridiculous waste of a fate point, that.
It would.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to do it.
And because you failed by 2 degrees, you didn't hit any of your companions.
Oh,
if you'd have failed by 1 degree, you'd have probably hit Praxis.
Oof.
Next up is Spring. Spring is... What's Spring going to do? Spring's going to run into the cover here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, she's going to stay there. Mortales.
All out, I guess, all out attack. Let's do it.
Okay, so plus 30 weapon skill. Ooh, forgot about that.
Has that just gone in? Yeah, it did.
Say again.
1 second. What's my dice for? Get off there. Right.
Rolled a 96, I think, buddy.
I rolled a 96. Ah, yeah, I see.
Yeah, that is...
I'm going to re-roll that.
Okay.
With a faint point. First one used. So let's try that again. Come on, guy. Just got him.
Okay, that is a hit. It's already parried, so roll for damage.
Finish it.
So, what is it? D10?
D10 plus whatever your mace is, plus whatever your strength is. Hello, there's a random black cat just staring at me. Hello, you're making me uncomfortable.
I'm going to re-roll that 5. Should I? Yes.
Don't know. It's
yeah.
You've got a chance.
What would it get?
Higher or lower.
What would it get? Yeah, what would it get so far for rolled a 5? So that would be a plus. Strength 4, then the mace is pen 4, then plus 4 for the mace as well, and then plus 5.
So that'd be a 13.
I'd probably leave it
Altogether.
If you rolled a 5 and you've got plus 4 from your mace and plus 4 from your strength, then
and then minus 4 for the armor pen as well.
Yeah, but you don't know what its armor is. So all I'm saying is you've rolled a total of 13 damage before any reduction.
You've got an equal chance of rolling higher or lower, really, or a slightly. You know what I mean? It's pretty middle of the road, a 5. So you know, you could roll high, you could roll lower.
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
You're gonna do it?
Do it.
Take the chance.
It's
8.
your second fate point. Good call. So 8 plus 8 is 16.
Don't see his damage rolls, so I don't know why.
Yeah, he's just doing GM rolls for some reason.
I don't know
So
why that is.
so it's pen 4, did you say?
Pen 4, then it's also +4 for the damage as
Yeah,
well.
I've got
and then
that. I've got that.
+4 for my strength.
So 16 in total, minus, and then pen 4. That's a good roll.
Send me back into the warp.
You smash into this demonic entity, and as your mace passes through its, where did you hit it? 55, I think that's sent. Is that an arm or a body? Whatever thing it passes through, the demon dissipates in a wisp of smoke, and it disappears from this realm.
Whoa,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Demon Slayer.
And with a clatter falling to the ground, its huge double-bladed two-handed axe lands on the floor.
Oh yeah. Go on, Canni, pick it up. You know you
What an
want.
obvious honeypot.
Well, I'm
But
fully
what
out.
will be the price?
I mean, all I can do is cower until I eventually.
You should be all right now, I would have thought. But you after the encounter anyway. Next up is the wonderful tailed Miss Calamere.
Okay, so who's left? There's 2 troopers down here.
There's 2 troops down there. There's the guy that Canni's got hold of, and there's the unconscious guy. Oh, there's also the heavy in the brawl as well.
I'm going to take a half aim and a single shot of the nearest trooper with a plasma pistol, please. Dave.
Yeah, no problem. So half aim, single shot. So +10, +30 altogether, -20 for not having the talent, +10.
And red dot as well. So
Oh, +20.
yeah, so it's,
I always forget your red dot.
single shot, red dot. So what do we say it was?
+20. Sweet. He's gonna try and dodge because he's not frozen or anything, but he is at -10 and he's failed.
14.
Okay, so yeah, that vaporizes him because it cuts straight through his armor. His toughness is only 30 something, so he's taken 11 wounds, and he was already down to 3. Vernetta kills another. Vernetta is fucking lethal with that plasma pistol.
You're doing a lot better than Canni
My
is.
pistol's lethal.
What's that, sorry?
I say plasma pistols are lethal.
Yeah, they are. You don't want to roll a 96 or more with them when you're shooting. That's the only problem. Or they overheat. Next up is the only standing one of the Theranos brothers, who is going to take a shot at the last trooper. 10 for aiming, 10 for single shot, 10 for range. Misses. Just need to check how many fate points he's. By the way, I'm going to start whenever I'm controlling an NPC and it's a combat situation. I am just going to burn their fate points at every opportunity. That's how I'm going to roll with them from now on. I needed a rule of how to apply that, so that's what I'm doing. Yeah, he's going to use his last fate point.
You never know when you're going to kill him off, Dave.
63. That's a hit. Exactly. May as well use fate points. 7. It's pretty good. 7 plus 3 is 10, minus his armor. 6, minus his toughness. Does 3 wounds to this guy down here. Then it is the heavies, or the heavy, rather, who is here, alone. Who is still just lying on the floor. But this turn, he gets up. demon's gone, so he's no longer feared. He stands up.
Will he be scared of me because I beat the demon up?
He stands up. He's left his grenade launcher on the floor. He draws his las pistol and just holds it out and drops it and holds his hands up and goes, all right, I've had enough. I don't know who the fuck you people are, but I've had enough. Next up is Dr. Pench, who somewhere in the distance is going, ring a roses, a pocket full of posies. Trantia is still unconscious. And it's the troopers go. That guy's unconscious, but this guy here, he's frozen. The demon's gone. Source of his fear's gone. Canni's got hold of him, and he drops his las rifle and goes, all right, I give up. Next up is Canni. Canni, the source of your fear is gone.
Okay, so I'm no longer scared, right?
You're no longer frozen by terror.
Okay, so...
Technically, you are out of combat because the two guys left have surrendered. So you're not minus 10 to everything as well.
I'm going to just push the trooper away. I'm going to move up to Trantia.
Okay.
Oh no, what's it done to you? I'm going to check her and see if I can do anything for her.
She's bleeding quite heavily. Making a... You don't have Medicaid, do you? So make an intelligence test at half, please.
Test at half. Ooh, yeah.
God, why?
12. No, I didn't get it.
So she's bleeding badly. You know how to patch up very basic wounds. You knew when Seraph lost a leg, the best thing to do was cauterize that wound or bind it, but you don't know what to do with a wound like this to the abdomen. You need someone like Dr. Pench right now.
Okay, and Dr. Pench getting drugged up. Right, I'm going to run off to where Pench is in the infirmary, I think, or do I not know where he is?
You don't know where he is. You know he was somewhere down this corridor.
Okay. What I'll do, I'll scream on the comm and say, Pench, where the fuck are you? I'm going to start running off down the corridor. I don't know how far I can go. I don't know how long.
Just treat it like you're in combat for now. So if you want to make a run, you could have... No, you couldn't make a run because you checked it. So not very far.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know how far.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. You're not in combat, but I want to do it in combat order for now.
I'm going to shout at Pench!
Okay.
Get your fucking ass here!
Les is up next. Les is still frenzied.
You know what that
And
means?
Les is going to fucking clobber the guy next to him. And I don't mean Gaius, because he likes Gaius. So plus 30 for all out attack, plus 10 for frenzy. And he misses. He's going to use his fate point, and he hits. He keeps rolling 9s for damage. 10, 11, 16, 14. Les turns, and this guy that's just surrendered next to him, who dropped the grenade launcher and his pistol, just gets smashed in the skull by Les with a really offhand swipe, like he really didn't think about it too much, and Les just caves his skull in. Next up is Praxis.
Saves me the job.
I'm going to take over Praxis right now. Praxis moves over to this guy and begins. I believe Praxis has in his inventory some manacles. He does 2 sets of manacles, to be precise. How convenient. And he just grabs hold of this guy and begins trying to manacle this guy up, and he doesn't resist because he's already surrendered. The guy at the bottom, did he surrender as well?
I don't think he did.
He didn't. No, he's still prone. That's why he's still prone. You are technically out of combat. So there's 2 guys unconscious. Well, 1 guy unconscious, 1 guy prone, 1 guy that Praxis is currently manacling. Canni's marching off down there. I'm just going to grab a beer because although I went to get a beer, I don't know where the fuck I put it, and then we'll carry on.
Cool.
Great work, Gaius.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's done some rescuing tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, well,
He's done some fucking.
good work, man.
Yeah. He's done all right, really. Good game for Gaius, really. I don't like normally it's Siegfried or Canni which gets the kill accolades. I'm there as a defensive beacon. That's what I do.
A well-earned kill, man, and most appropriately earned kill as well. Like,
Yeah. Got my first demon on the cloth, haven't I?
on your rap sheet,
Yeah.
Good.
That's it.
And
it was nice. It was nice that like when everybody else was rolling fear tests, that I just didn't have to. It was like, yay!
I thought you were going to pop your magic special ability.
I thought I'd just go fuck it up.
You know, because if you'd done that, the fear test would have not been at minus.
I couldn't
30.
do it without knowing about it.
Yeah, I know, but once you'd seen it, you could have done it.
Yeah, well, I had when I saw it, I charged it.
Yeah.
I didn't
thought
do
you would
anything
have,
else. I just wanted to attack it. If it not parried me that time, I might have fucked up then. But who knows?
Yeah, I honestly thought the first thing you'd do would be pop that, because then the minus 30 fear test would have become minus 10 fear test.
Yeah, it would have.
Because you give a plus 10, don't you? And you also ignore.
I know, but I wanted to use my fate points instead of casting that to just.
No, it worked out. It worked out. The only way you would have, I mean, the only bad thing was that Trantia got really fucked up, and if you'd have made that initial awareness test, you might have been able to stop that.
I might have been able to get the doorway.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Gladstock didn't make his awareness test. So okay, so we're ready.
I do. To be fair, I don't really want. I wouldn't have really wanted the first strikes of the demon on me.
Yeah. I don't know. You probably got the best chance of shrugging it off. You've got double toughness.
We've got a cowardly demon slayer here.
You have got, remember, you do have double toughness bonus against demons as well.
I know that very well.
Yeah, they're very.
You are designed to tank demons. So, as the combat comes to an end, Gladstock strides over to you, looks at the smoking bodies, the dissipating goop of the demon, and he says, "Get the wounded to the infirmary. Titulos, Otto, and Tranti look badly hurt. Pench, prepare to receive wounded." And over the vox, Canni, you hear this too as you're marching down the corridor. You hear the voice of Dr. Pench go, "Yeah, I'll receive the prepared wounded." And he comes out of this door just here.
I'm going to run up to him and stick a stim in his neck.
Okay, so you stimmed Pench. That's a good idea. I'll just make a note of that. And as he seems to snap back, you see his pupils drop back to a normal size. And you hear Gladstock on the vox again say, "Emperor, give me strength. Praxis, Calamir, assist Pench if you can. He might have his work cut out for him." Gladstock strides across the room to Otto and picks him up. And it looks like he's struggling a little bit to lift him. And then he turns and heads back towards the infirmary. Theranos grabs hold of Titulos and begins carrying him. Praxis and Praxis moves and cuffs the other remaining trooper, and him and Spring begin escorting them away. Okay, so I'm just going to move some people. So Gladstock, I'm just going to start dragging people. Gladstock is carrying Otto. Ferinus is carrying Titulos. Praxis and Spring are escorting the troopers. Anyone else doing anything at this moment?
Yeah, I'm going to cut the if the officer had any sort of like rank boards on his thing, I'm going to cut one of them off as like a trophy, and then I'm going to go and retrieve my weapons.
Okay.
Who
Do
else? Anybody else
recognise
on the
rank?
floor?
Do I recognise his rank?
No, because you are not familiar with Lord Elden's rank insignia.
I'll get my sword as well.
Okay, so you retrieve your weapons, no problem.
I'll pick up the bloodletter sword before I don't even want to touch this heretical piece of item, so I'm going to wrap my hands in a bit of cloth.
Okay.
And then pick it up.
Okay, I need you to make a willpower test at -10.
Definitely for Canni.
I don't know if I want anything to do with any demon at this point. Canni doesn't like demons.
Haven't you had visions of like blood and skulls and things like that already?
No, he hasn't had visions. He's just been screaming about them.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Okay,
fine.
I've
That's
failed
fine.
my
then.
willpower
That was
test.
just,
Okay, so you-
that's just Speyer's influence.
You grab hold of this double-headed axe, and it is an unwholesome thing to look at. It kind of hurts your mind when you look at it. And as you grip it, it just crumbles to dust and vaporizes. And then a mysterious wind blows the dust away.
They're shocked.
Anyone else doing anything at this moment?
Yeah, I want to go and pick up Trantier and then.
Okay. So you're going to
Is
carry
anybody else?
Transier to the infirmary.
Anybody else left on the floor?
No, I think that's everyone picked up, apart from the unconscious guy.
Oh, I'll grab the unconscious guy.
Okay, where are you taking him? What do you call it? Spring and Praxis are escorting the troopers off.
I'll
to
drag
south.
him off. I'll follow them with the unconscious guy.
Okay, so you're going with them. I'm just going to move you all about. So this isn't where you're standing. This is just so I know where people are.
Who's going to put the power back on this bloody mansion?
We'll get rid of Siegfried's sword off there because he's picked it up. Les is just standing in the doorway, still going, but he at least seems to understand the difference between friend and foe, and he's not attacked anyone. And you guys, Siegfried, these guys some of the guys are going off to the right with the prisoners. Some are going off to the left with the wounded. Where would you like to go?
I would like to go to the entrance and see if there's anybody outside.
Okay, so you move down to the entrance. Let's just move you here. So you can see through this door. I mean, this is a mansion. This is an incredibly well-kept mansion. But as soon as you look through this door, which you can see is made of wood, but it's fragmented across the floor, you can see out into the corridor. And into the corridor, you see the dilapidated ruin of the 13th hostel that you're used to. Make an awareness test, please.
Okay.
Site-based.
Okay.
Okay, you glance at some of the fragments of the wood on the floor, and you realize that they kind of do look like wood, but the broken ends of these fragments of wood look nothing like wood at all. They kind of look a bit hollow with a kind of lattice structure inside, a tiny lattice structure. And it puts you in mind of, you would know this because of your past. it looks a bit like bone, but
Yeah.
but not a human natural bone, like an artificial bone-like structure.
Like Wraithbone.
I don't know what you're talking about. Big Bone Les is following the group to the infirmary. Vernetta is also going to go to the infirmary. So I'm just going to move everyone else to the infirmary. Siegfried, for now, I'd like you to stay where you are.
Uh-huh.
And the others are going to go off to the cells. So let me just move you all so I know where people are. Let's get rid of that stupid circle. Or it can stay, whatever. Okay. We'll just wait for Hayden to come back.
I'm still here. Don't worry. I can hear
Oh,
you.
sorry, I thought you'd gone. Okay.
Well, no,
so-
I have, but my headphones are really long.
Right.
I can.
Okay,
yell.
so you, Praxis, and Spring, I mean, you're dragging this unconscious guy, but the other two are frog marching these people. And you lead them. Where's the stairs? Where's the stairs gone? Why have the stairs disappeared? There should be stairs. Anyway, you lead them downstairs to here. Okay, and this is a region.
Can't see anything on that screen, Dave.
Just give it a second. It should load.
Is there any light source down there?
And probably not, no. Let me just move you. Yeah, you maybe won't be able to because of the player thing, but I can change that in a second. Just give me a moment.
Hey, I got 2 bosses this time.
That didn't work.
Hey, I got the sergeant and the bloodletter. Feel quite good about that.
I bagged me an officer. That's pretty. I feel pretty good about that.
An officer. That was my bag.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, shit.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
If he,
I saved
to
you
be
that.
fair to Gaius as well, if he hadn't done that, he would have probably fucked you up with that sword.
I think it was. Yeah.
Right.
I threw some grenades.
Yeah, the grenade thing was very cool.
It was really good.
It's not letting me fucking move people. What the fuck?
It wants more death. Green. That's what it wants.
More
Second-
death.
Second wave, perhaps. Or did they go all in?
Wave.
That was, believe me, that was the lot of them.
Dave, how many were there in total?
21.
Wow.
Okay, there we go. You should be able to start seeing stuff now.
Yeah, I've got green circle thing in the corner. Oh, just come past it.
My roll 20's just locked up.
Oh no.
There we go. There we go. Al, you maybe can't see this, but just give me a moment and I'll change that. Dynamic lighting. Oh, why is it going so slow?
Dynamic lighting. Sorry.
It probably is because it's a pretty big map.
I like taking my character around for a little joyride.
Oh, it's painful. What is happening here?
Have a look what's around.
Right, Al, can you? Oh, fuck off. Can you see the map now, Al?
I can, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So-
light.
What you've got down here are a number of cells, and Praxis leads each one to a cell as you hold on to them. One of them's unconscious, obviously. And as you put people in these cells,
They died. They did.
Gaius, make an intelligence test, half your intelligence test. Do one for Praxis as well. Would one of you two like to do one for Spring, please?
Intelligence.
Spring's intelligence is 32, so 16.
Mine's
I'll try that one if you want.
Okay.
No.
Minus. Gaius. Oh, you're not very good. Was it half, you say?
Yeah, it'd be half for you. Yeah. Praxis has passed anyway.
You've done practice.
Someone's done praxis.
Oh, that was Gaius.
That was Gaius.
It's just because I haven't changed the name of this.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, so Gaius, you passed.
Spring did not.
Spring did not. Gaius, you recognise some of these runes. You've seen some before around the door and around the floor of these cells that you lock these people in.
I've got these on my arms.
No. You've seen them in a couple of places before. There's a couple in Mesmeron's study. You've also seen them above the door to the library. You don't know what they do, but there's definitely runes carved into these cells. You also notice of the the 6 cells down here, you've just put 3 guys into some. You also notice one of the doors is unlocked and 2 others are locked at the far right. Would you like to look in them? They have little windows like cells do.
I would. I'm going to look in this one first.
There's a man, looks like a very average man, and he's in there. He looks disheveled and weak. Looks like he's been there in a few days. Looks like he's been beaten. Very heavily bruised, blooded, black eye, dried blood around his mouth. He looks uncomfortable and in
Can I
pain.
speak to him?
Yeah, of course you can.
Care to tell me what your master is doing, or shall I resume punishment as normal?
Are you attempting to intimidate or interrogate him?
Inquiry.
Make an inquiry roll.
Right. Give me a second. Gaius Mortalis. Inquiries. Click. No, fail.
Why don't you go fuck yourself and tell that bitch to fucking come back in here if she thinks she can fucking handle me?
I will be sure to tell her, and I will move on to the next cell.
Praxis comes up behind you, puts his hand on your shoulder for a minute and says, I believe the Inquisitor's already learned a great deal from these gentlemen, but I'm sure she'd be interested to know what you can learn. You open the second cell, or the second window. What are you doing?
So what? I will ask you a question. So, can you tell me now what your Lord and Master is up to?
Make an inquiry roll.
I don't know shit.
The guy in here is just rocking back and forth. He doesn't seem to respond to anything you say. And you see he's drooling heavily.
Okay, I'll close the door and walk off.
Okay.
And then I'll go to, unless anybody's got any issue with this.
Where would you like to go?
First trooper and ask who sent them.
Okay. Go for it. Just doing an inquiry?
Yeah. Who sent you, trooper?
Do another inquiry test. Is that oh, holy shit. Just a second. I need a piece of paper. Artellus 41659.
Artellus 41659. Is that who sent you?
Artellus 41659.
Open the door.
Okay.
Is the door open, yeah?
Yeah, if you want to open it.
I'm going to get my mace out while my mace is out. And say, who's your Lord and master and activate the power field right next to his fucking head.
Make an intimidation check.
You know, this is part of an interrogator's job. It really rubbish at intimidating people. But I will say it with fury. It's witchcraft.
Okay. He glances at this glowing, crackling mace by his side and says, "Look, mate, I just do as I'm told. I'm just a fucking soldier, you know.
Who sent you then?
Fucking Lord Elden, who do you think?"
Well, thank you very much for being compliant. Anything else? Take off all your flak armor and give it to me.
he just goes, all right, and just spends a minute or two just undoing it all, takes it all off, and gives you it.
Everything. Stop holding back, mate.
Yeah, I'm gonna basically assume that Praxis stripped them of weapons when he manacled them as well. So he just takes the armor off.
Yeah. All right. I took that on my shoulder and
Okay.
trundled off with his armor.
Okay.
And lock the door behind me.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, I'm going to visit the man of number 2, Lord Elden's man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask him the same thing. So I'm going to make an inquiry test.
Yep.
I don't succeed that time.
Just go fuck yourself, mate.
All right. I'm going to open the door and mace the cunt to the face.
Okay, make an attack. All out attack?
All out attack, yeah.
Okay. Plus 30.
How dare he speak to the servant of the Emperor that way?
You swing the mace at his head, and he dodges to one side. He grabs hold of your shoulders as the mace passes by, even though he's cuffed. He doesn't grab hold of your shoulders. As the mace passes by, he just leans into you and he brings his knee up into your groin. I don't know why I just rolled a d10. That makes no sense. But you easily step aside as he tries to knee you in the balls, basically. Because he missed.
Okay.
Yeah, spirit.
It's my turn again then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to mace him again. All
Okay.
out.
Plus 30.
See if we can... I miss.
It's another miss. He's a bit wily, this one. He nimbly dodges under the swing of your mace, and he stamps out at your leg, and he hits. Would you like to dodge or parry?
Take it like a man.
Okay.
All out attack.
Oh,
You can't hurt me.
you can fucking try. That's 4. He smashes his foot really hard into the leg of your armor, and it just kind of goes ping. And you hear the steel toe cap of his boot ping off your carapace armor. Praxis moves in behind you at this time. And grabs hold of him and drags him to the back of the cell and says, "This one maybe needs a little bit more time, Mortalis." Slams him into the bench. And this guy just glares at you.
Actually, I'm going to turn around and punch him for that.
What, Praxis?
No.
Oh.
No. While he's pinned down, I'm just going to take his head off with the mace.
Okay, make an attack with the mace if you want to hit him.
Yeah. I'm sorry, this guy, Gaius has a tendency to do this to victims in cells. Or
I've noticed. It has been noticed.
It is.
There's so many dead prisoners.
Police brutality, man. It's like, you can't let that go.
You know,
man.
I can't go
One of the
against
perks of the job.
That's a hit. He's going to try and make a dodge, but it'll be heavily modified because he's been slammed into the cell. Nope. That's a hit.
All right. So it's 1d10.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Plus 8 for you strengthen the...
I think I can actually... Oh, no, it doesn't work on that. It works on all the others but that. So 1d10.
So that's 9 with an app of 4. He's still got his armor on. Ignores his armor. 6. Ooh. You smash your mace into the side of this guy's skull, and his head just explodes and splatters all across the cell wall. Praxis sighs and goes, "Oh, Mortalis, dead men tell no tales."
Get to the next one.
This is what happens when Gaius has left the interrogation. We had this problem before.
Yeah. Let's be fair, Johnny. He's not the only one that's done this shit.
Yeah, well, look,
Let's remember
Gaius
who. Let's remember who
never be
beheaded the
allowed to
Dark
go
Eldar.
interrogate. Why did nobody stop him? Gaius gets off with this sort of shit. He loves it.
Perfect.
Oh,
Fits perfectly.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like I've left a couple alive, tell tales, and I've executed one.
Of course.
Had to.
And that one knew everything you needed to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
What he was doing there.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there for now. I'm gonna leave that there for now, and we're gonna go to the infirmary. So in the infirmary, what the fuck is happening here? Why is that changing? What is happening to Roll20? There we go. Right. Just get rid of them. Bloop. Let's bring Spring this way because she's going over here. I'm going to move Pench. So down in the infirmary, I'm first of all, even though the lights are still out, the night vision thing is annoying me. So I'm going to turn dynamic lighting off for now.
Okay.
So it is still dark in here. Vernetta is just loitering around. Gladstock has put Otto on one of the beds. Fairness has dumped his brother on one of the beds. Canni, where would you like to put Otto?
Tranty, you mean?
Sorry, Trantier, yeah.
I mean, one bed's as good as any, I guess.
Okay.
Or is there any, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they are. I just wondered if you had any preference. I was just offering you a choice. An utterly irrelevant choice.
I'll choose the nearest bed, and then I'll go up to Pench and drag him across the transier.
Yep, he follows you. He doesn't resist.
You've got to look at her. It's bad. It's real bad.
His eyes are still a bit wild and twitching, but the pupils have shrunk down to normal, and he immediately rushes over to Trantier, plunges a needle into her neck, injects her with something, and there's a machine next to a bed, and he begins dragging cables out of it with very thin needles on, which begins plugging into him. Goes, fucking hell, she's in a state. What was that thing? Did anyone else see it, or was that just me? Because, it won't be the first time.
It was real.
Fairness goes, it was a vile denizen of the warp, my good doctor. Now focus. You have work to do. And he gestures at Titulos. And Pench goes, right, and begins moving around the wounded. Gladstock, in the middle of the room, leans on a bench and just sort of goes, oh. And I would like, Canni, where the fuck is Siegfried's by the front door. So Canni,
just on guard.
I need Canni and Vernetta to make this test. Also, everyone else is out of action or not there. So it's a -10 awareness test, please, for Canni and Vernetta.
Fight based?
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Now I pass it.
Was that Canni's?
Yeah. Oh, I need to do Vernetta as well, though. That's Canni's. Vernetta probably won't. -10, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, so Canni sees as Gladstock leans on this bench and groans, you see the wounds in his body beginning to close up, and the suit that he wears is beginning to repair itself. and he says, I assume that warp spawn was Midkiff's doing. And he looks at her. He doesn't seem particularly pissed off by it. He's sort of stating it matter-of-factly. And says, unless there's another one of you here that happens to be a psyker. And then he looks around at the rest of you and says, the Inquisitor will have to hear of this. She's not a fan of demons in her home. And a voice comes from the bed as Trantia wakes up briefly and goes, no, me neither. They never wipe their feet. Gladstock strides over to Trantia and just places a hand on her cheek and says, rest, Trantia. Otto, Pench continues to work on her. And then he turns to Pench and says, I'll leave this with you, Pench. Who's there? Right, I need to reword this. It says, Canni, there's a number of bodies in the foyer. Can I leave you to deal with them? Ground floor. You'll find cold storage.
You want to store them?
For now.
For a rainy day?
Until we know more. Yes.
Yeah, no problem. Leave with me. I can do clean up. I'm gonna light a low stick and then head off.
Excellent. Les, could you help? And Les goes, well, I was looking at some of their weapons and armor, and they look a little bit fancy, don't they? And he says, very well. Looks like you have some new toys. I'll leave that in your hand. Strip the insignia from the armor when you get the time. And suddenly a voice at the door. No, that doesn't happen. Sorry, I just need to make a note of something. Gladstock says, everyone get patched up. The survivors have been secured in the cells. Somebody check on Missy and the boy. Once the bodies are in storage, we'll work on the door. We need to talk to Mesmeron too. He says the entrance is still unsecured. It cannot close until the power is restored, which means the Inquisitor cannot return quickly. Calamir, help Pench with the wounded, and then see what you can do about getting the power back on. And then he turns and leaves. Pench says, right, let's have a look. Trantia is full of needles right now. Machines are beeping by her. He's stabilized her. And he glances over at Otto and Titulos and goes, throne, fucking hell, she's going to be a fucking pickle. Vernetta, can you help? Vernetta says, of course, Dr. Pench. Moves over to help. So, Canni, where are you going?
I'll head off to the entrance hall and I'll just pick up a couple of bodies, one in each arm.
Uh-huh.
And take them downstairs to the cold storage.
Okay. Les is going to disappear. Gladstock is also going to disappear. Pench is in here. Theranos is staying by his brother's side. Vernetta's staying there to assist with the medical procedure. We'll deal with healing shortly. I'm just going to have to go for a piss again. And then we'll move on.
I like Jeeves Cyborg.
Yeah, I think I've sent him a token pack with some of these dribblers in. There's quite a few good ones. There's a freebie token pack with loads of like servitors and all sorts.
Oh, nice.
Cool little thing with them. Yeah, I'll be using a few in mine as well. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like obviously, when I'm making my own map stuff, I like recognize all the different avatars. Obviously, I use some of them myself.
Well, we have maps. You got to use same models, like all the henchmen are my Arnie characters in Dave's game.
Yeah, when didn't go too badly. All in all.
Well, went really
Trying to
well
throw off
actually.
that.
Guys smited well. Beat the shit out the bloodletter quite quick.
Yeah,
Told you
yeah,
it wasn't that big a deal. As long as you got a couple of solid hits on it, it would die fairly easy. But you just need a weapon with app, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I think everyone is wounded, but not as bad as those that are in the infirmary. At some point, you will all be able to get some healing off Pench, but he's obviously going to prioritise Titulos, Otto, and Trantia. But we need to do cleanup. Which I'll start doing now, actually. Otto. Give me Pench. And with Vernetta assisting, he gets a +10. He gets some for the autosurgeon.
I'd like to head on down to the infirmary after smarting that guy's head in.
Yeah, we'll come to what you're doing in a minute. I'm just going to deal with some other shit first. To 78. Okay. So while we're waiting for Johnny to come back, I'm just going to do Pench's initial first aid on Otto. It's pretty good. 1 + 4 is 5. Okay.
Your skin's not as stuck as you thought, Otto.
Oh no, Otto is in a bad way. Definitely in a bad way. But he has taken a bit of healing. Stabilized at least. Titulos. 2, 3. So 2 for Titulos. And then he moves on to Trantia. Fucking Trantia is proper fucked. Oh, that was some good healing, Pench. 10, 5. That was pretty good. He's basically put her back to the same place she was before she got in combat.
Oh, wow.
But she's, because she only took the 1 hit, which did a lot of damage, but she's still got no liver. She's just ridiculous. Who else is in there? Fairness. I may as well do that while he's there. Fairness can't be healed. Vernetta can't be healed yet. The rest of you can take a little bit of healing, but you're not there right now. But we'll deal with that later. Jeeves is still in the infirmary, by the way. Jeeves is still slumped over the bench in the middle of the table with multiple gunshot wounds to the back and the head from where Gaius and Siegfried just shot the holy shit out of him. If Johnny's not back in a minute, we'll start to proceed with some other stuff.
I've done some motherfucking damage to Jeeves so far.
Poor Jeeves. He should have been dead at least twice.
Remember when we first met?
Yeah, and you shot him in the back of the head.
I just point blank shot him with a shotgun, didn't I?
The thing is, Jeeves has got some serious plot armor. And before anyone starts to think it's something really sinister relating to the story, it's not. It is purely for comedy purposes. It's purely because I want him to get abused. I think it's quite amusing. But okay. So while we're waiting for Johnny,
Many deaths of Jeeves.
Gaius, what did you want to do next?
I'd like to come to the infirmary myself.
Okay.
And get a little bit of healing. Bit of sexual healing.
Yeah, I can do a little bit for you, I think, because you did take some damage in that battle. You still are quite low on wounds, but a lot of it has been lingering for a while. But what you want? You're on 3, but I think I can do a little bit. You can be healed up to a max of 8. So 8. Yeah, 8 degrees success plus 1 is 9. Divided by 2 is 5. So yeah, you're back up to 8. Is that your max? Yeah, you're back up to the max you could have been healed to. 8 wounds.
That's good.
And it's in 2 days' time, 2 in-game days time. It will have been a week since any of you had some proper extended care, so you will be able to be healed again. But as I think I said before, I will ensure that when you start a proper plot-related mission, you will have the potential to all be fully healed. However, in between now and then, there are other things you can do. You know, things that you want to do with your own accord.
This is the trouble, though, Dave. We get sidetracked doing what we want to do.
Well, it's not about being sidetracked. It's about doing other stuff. All the other little side missions you've been doing do have a benefit in some way, and it's about balancing. You know, how much you want to be fully healed for that big mission compared to the benefits you can gain from your little side missions. Mm-hmm. So anyway,
what do we get? Oh, Dave, one question for XP purposes. Would I got bonus XP for killing the leader boss and the bloodletter?
Not for the bloodletter because it wasn't part of the story. There was a little bonus for killing the leader. Not much because he wasn't that much of a threat.
Yeah.
Siegfried.
Yeah.
The entrance way, the foyer that you pass through, it's all a mess. Blood, bodies, bullet casings, scorch marks dotted around the floor. Las gun burns, bullet holes riddle the walls and the columns. One section of the wall near the far entrance of the foyer is buckled and blackened. And as you stand there peering out of this door, keeping an eye out, and you've seen these fragments of wood on the floor, Mr. Gladstock enters the entranceway. And he stares out of the door alongside you. He says to you, "We still need to get the power back on. I believe the door will repair itself then, but that doesn't help us if any of these people have friends and they come too. They could send more. We're trapped here. Antonio was right. We need to move the mansion. Once we're secure, I'll interrogate the survivors. I'll find out exactly who and what we're dealing with."
Agreed. Perhaps I should help tidy up a little.
He says, Jeeves is still in the infirmary, slumped over the bench from where everyone shot the shit out of him.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, I would appreciate it, Raislor, if you could maintain guard here for a while with me. We don't know who's coming, if anyone.
Of course. Of course. It was my first thought to secure the perimeter.
Well done. Well done, Von Morton. And you notice that that is the first time that Gladstock has ever called you Von Morton. He's always called you Raislor. He says, I'm wondering if there's a connection. A few days ago, we found a couple of men lurking around the mansion. Well, more than a couple. Some of them were used in Mortalis's ceremony. The ones we still have in custody are Lord Elden's men. The other two that were bled for him were undercover sanctuaries. We captured them as well. Under interrogation, the sanctuaries revealed their precinct had detected a failed hack into their data cores. They traced their location to Joytown, to the 13th Hostel. I believe this was perhaps the work of Mr. Krasmark or Miss Calamere, attempting to gain intel on the other nobles who had received the Black Orbs. These sanctuaries we captured had been posted to watch Joytown. One of them apparently noticed our speeder, which of course stands out like a sore thumb. They must have taken pics of it and its occupants and reported back to their superiors. Someone back at the precinct recognized Mr. Mortalis in the pics taken of our speeder in Joytown as being the same as one of the persons involved in the disappearance of Lance Gul'jan and the murder of his bodyguard, Stank Strenwell, the guy that Gaius shot in the face in the street in broad daylight. It seems the sanctuaries have been looking for Mr. Mortalis. Von Morton, they've been looking for you too. Canni and Trantier as well. I don't think this is a coincidence at all. I heard them yelling to capture Mortalis.
Well,
my guess. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I'm just going to say, I'm surprised it took them so long. We made it rather obvious for them, haven't we?
We have, however, those who aren't welcome here in the mansion struggle to find the entrance. My guess is that Lord Elden, as an Apex Prince, can access this sanctuary's files. The two men we captured claimed they were looking for thieves who had stolen something from their lord. I assume this must be related to the events of this shattered foundry. They didn't know much. They'd been told to keep an eye out for certain individuals. They had pics also of Tichelos, Vernetta, Gaius, and Otto from inside the shattered foundry, and also pics of Gaius, yourself, Canni, and Trantier from Lord Gul'jan's estate. They claimed they had been told to locate those individuals and investigate. I think it's safe to assume that when they didn't report back after a few days, Lord Elden decided to send more people to find them.
I'm just going to interject there, and I think it's safe to assume that they'll be back again.
He nods and says, this is probably why Antonio wanted us to move the mansion. But things have been a little hectic of late. What with a psychic ghost invading our home and the Inquisitor falling into a coma and everything. He says, with the door stuck open, the mansion's going nowhere. We need the power back on.
Can I ask who's talking to whom at this point?
This is Gladstock talking to Siegfried.
Okay, that's fine. I just missed the start of the conversation.
Yeah. You didn't miss a great deal in that first bit.
And Vernetta, I'm just going to comment Vernetta. Is Vernetta messed up, or is she?
She's not too bad, to be honest. Yeah, she's all right.
She's on.
Von Morton to Vernetta. Can you get the power back on so we can move this? So we can get this mansion out of here. I believe they may be back.
Make a fellowship test at +10, please, Siegfried.
Okay. Do that. That's the most fellowship Siegfried's ever had.
Oh, Dave, I sent you a message.
Yeah, I'm just checking it out.
Oh, bit of a fail.
It was a bit of a delay before I got it. I got it just as you said that.
Oh, that's strange.
Okay. I don't think it was strange. I think it's my PC for some reason doesn't tell me stuff when I'm in full screen mode.
Yeah.
No,
She
but
says,
it's nothing serious.
"Yeah, okay." She says, "All right. I'll look into it. I'll look into it right away."
Okay.
Um,
I'm sure.
meanwhile,
Thank you. Thank you. Time is of the essence.
meanwhile, Canni.
Yeah, I'd like to take the bodies down to cold storage. I'd also like to check them for some credits or gold rings or gold filings or anything.
Okay. So while Canni's taking the first couple of bodies, he takes the first couple of bodies down. Gladstock says to you, Von Morton, stay on guard. Stay in comms. I have something to deal with. And he leaves.
Roger that.
So, Canni, will you make a search test, please?
Well,
Nice.
cool.
So the two bodies you easily carry down. Both of them are wearing a light flak armor. It's pretty standard flak armor, but it has it's black and it has these certain logos on it, which Les has been ordered to remove at some point. He's been told to remove the logos. They also all had a las gun, which they probably dropped in combat, but one of them has holstered on his hip a small pistol, which you notice is fitted with tiny darts. Very similar to, I mean, you didn't see it, but it's very similar to what Les was shot with by Pench. They also have a number of grenades clipped to their belts. And I would like you to roll 2d10, please. Okay. You find 14 thrones between these two bodies.
Okay, cool. I'll take the grenades and the dart gun.
Okay. It's called a hypo pistol.
Okay.
It's basically a ranged method of delivering drugs.
I can have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, you can use it for anything. Any drug you can put in it, you can deliver at range. It's quite short ranged. Beyond a very short distance, it has serious ballistic skill negatives.
Like turning shopkeepers frenzied on the
You
customers.
can do all sorts of shit.
When you've got as many drugs as Canni does, you can have a lot of fun with a ranged injector.
Okay.
What grenades do I like, please say?
What grenades do you have? You have, let me see. So they were mostly on the other guys. You have, there was two guys.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 stun grenades and 2 frag grenades.
Okay. Take them and and then I'll head back up to some more corpses.
Okay, are you doing the thing you messaged me about, or are you just getting more?
Yeah.
With the first 2 corpses?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you're in the cold storage room, which you've been directed to deposit these corpses, and I'm going to take you over to that right now.
And it gets hungry.
And it's this room here. I'm just going to draw a shape around it in yellow so you can see it. Just so you know where it is for future reference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's where you are. And it's a fairly cold room with a load of shelves. There's nothing else in here, but you put these first two bodies in here. And as you do, the thing that you are doing, halfway through your business, you hear the door open,
Hmm.
and you turn and look, caught in the act of what you're doing. And standing in the doorway is Mr. Gladstock, and he looks a little pale. Not his usual deathly pallor and sagging skin that you've grown used to, although in recent days he's looked a lot healthier. But right now, he looks like a man who has maybe lost a lot of blood. You would recognize this from your days in the arena. And he holds in one hand a meat cleaver. And he glances at you for a moment and then walks in, heads over to one of the two corpses you've brought in, grabs an arm, straightens it out, and hacks it off in one clean blow. And then he turns and looks at you and says, "Bon appetit," and then just leaves.
I'm gonna offer him before he goes. I'm gonna offer him a piece of liver.
He looks at you for a moment, glances at the liver, and says, "Like I said to you before, Canni, you and I are not so different in some ways, but in other ways, we are worlds apart. I must decline your offer." And then he just strolls out with the arm over his shoulder, held by the wrist.
hates liver, loves everything else. Hates
Fucking liver, man. If you
I know,
don't,
it's
don't
awful.
cook it
Why?
right, it's real dry. You know, you need to
Yeah.
fry it lightly in a bit of olive oil. Oh.
Why would you? Why would you eat a liver?
Mr. Gladstock leaves and heads out of the cold storage room.
Go on,
Right,
Gumbo.
fine, I'll
Yeah,
dine
that's
alone
chocolate.
then.
Okay. And I'm going to assume that you carry on bringing bodies like you're instructed, unless you say otherwise.
Exactly.
The
Like I say,
Kelvin.
I'll do the same sort of thing, Dave. I'll as I take him down, I'll search him for loot.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, take the livers.
On your so do me another search roll, please, Alan.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and another 2d10, please.
I'm good at looting corpses. Okay. Not so good at fighting off the fear effect of bloodletters.
Yeah.
2d10.
Okay, so you find
in people.
Sorry, I didn't catch any of that. What did you say?
I say, shouldn't you be getting corruption for eating livers? I enjoyed combat. I got corruption.
So-
You're eating fucking people's livers.
it's all personal. Anyway, you gain another 26 thrones,
Uh-huh.
another 2 frag grenades, and 1 stun grenade. There's also no, there isn't. They're all wearing this armor as well that Les is apparently going to come and get.
Yeah, I'm not bothering with the armor.
Yeah, Les will get that eventually, I'm sure. After about the 4th corpse, you stop finding any money. But then after you sort of take the 5th and 6th corpse down, you're in the cold storage room again. Just a second. Trying to load a document. There we go. After about the 6th corpse, as you're stacking at the shelf, there's a knock at the cold storage door.
Okay, I'll head to the door.
You opening it?
Yeah, I'll open it. I'll light a low stick.
Okay. You light your low stick and open the door.
Low stick? Is it IO stick?
IO stick, who knows? And there, standing in the corridor, is Spring. And she drags along, and you can see she's sweating. She's been struggling. She's been dragging one of the corpses down towards the cold storage. And she sort of shoves it halfway through the door, and a shotgun is hung behind her back, and she just looks you straight in the eye and holds out a small bag.
It's a ball bag.
I'll take what she offers.
Okay. Do you want to look in the bag?
Yeah, sure.
Just a second. 10.
Grenade.
You quickly count up what's in this small pouch, and you reckon it's about 200 thrones.
Fuck me. Was more than expected.
And she grins at you and says, "Took them off the bodies of those pricks in the foyer, didn't I? No one's seen me, I'm sure of that. Them's what you wanted, right? Thrones?"
Yeah, thrones. I'm gonna give her a hug. Gonna give her a big hug. I thought they'd fucking killed you, didn't I? I thought you got yourself killed, you silly little shit.
Make a fellowship test at +10. What have you got?
It's a big fail, 87.
Oof.
So scary.
Oof.
Still
Too
smells
scary.
slightly of liver.
Yeah, human liver and hugging her with all blood dripping off your chin.
She says, "I didn't really know what you were asking for, you know, but I asked Trauma. She said, them's phones, so I got you some. You know, you didn't have to fucking threaten me. I would have nicked shit for you anyway if you'd just asked." And then she just turns and walks off down the corridor.
All right, okay, fair enough. Well, anyway, I'm glad you're not dead. You've got some balls, I'll give you that.
She turns back, looks at you over the shoulder, and just goes, "Yeah," and just carries on. Right, just give me a moment just to fucking go through these notes and see where we are. Done that. Done that. Done that. Vernetta! I apologise, but I am going to flit in and out of you guys controlling NPCs and not controlling them, depending on what's happening. Vernetta, you have been asked by Lord von Morton if you can get the power back on. What would you like to do? You've done your initial first aid with Pench, so...
I first wonder at what point I lost control and I put a mechatendrite on my fucking ass and became a mecha furry.
It's been there a while. It's been there about 2 days in game.
I'm going to head back down to where I was originally, down near the workshop.
Okay.
Out where the power generator is.
Uh-huh.
Head back down there to start back down there. So what happened? Can you just remind me what happened the first time around?
Okay, so when you went down there, when it was Vernetta and Canni, she entered this room that I'm about to put you in. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, she entered this room and she could see the power was technically still on, but it wasn't making it to all parts of the mansion. And using the device that I've forgotten the name of, that's like a psychic auspex, Vernetta managed to trace that something was like a psychic circuit was in the walls running to the generator in certain parts of the mansion, but not others. And when she tried to access it to see what it was doing, she collapsed and blacked out. And that was when Canni heard all the commotion in the workshop. That's a point. As she's walking into the generator room, make an awareness test, please, at +10.
I have to say, I love the modifications you've made to the workshop. I've just noticed that just now.
Yeah.
No, the modifications you've made.
Okay, so make awareness test, right?
Yeah, +10, please.
Okay. Rec use test.
Look, he was fucking asking for it, all right?
He was fucking looking at you sideways.
Nope.
Yeah. You just walk
unaware for a bit longer time. So.
straight into the generator room.
Okay.
And you go.
Okay, I'm gonna have another look and try and pick up where I left off. Try and work out what's stopping the power and whereabouts it's being stopped.
Okay. First of all, is she just looking with her eyes?
No, she's gonna port in.
Okay, so she's plugging in. So it'll be a tech use test with plus 20, please. Vernetta gets the impression that whatever is drawing the power away from certain functions of the mansion, it's not taking it from everywhere. Certain things are still on. Something called cognitive display matrix is still powered up. Something called containment field is still up. The kitchen is also still powered. The lights are off. You get the impression after a while of looking that it's things that are not vital to keeping the mansion running that have had power drawn away from them. And the power is being drawn towards the central cogitator core, which is whirring at a rate far beyond what it should be capable of.
So that's where Alice is, I guess.
It feels like something is trying to understand the mansion.
Okay. So where is the main cogitator?
You don't know.
I don't know where it's located in the mansion.
Nope.
How would I deduce it?
You can try and find out if you would like.
Yeah, I don't know how I might try and deduce this.
I mean, Vernetta would be able to try and trace it through the cabling of the mansion, but it would be a tech use test at -10.
Sure.
So, you begin trying to trace this signal, this, for want of a better word, this thought process through the mansion. And after a while, Vernetta finds herself becoming very dizzy and disorientated. And she feels like she is being sucked from her body. And after a few moments of disorientation, she finds herself standing on a wide, grassy plain. There is nothing for as far as the eye can see, up to the horizon in every direction. There is just grass. And then, after a few moments, she hears, "Hello." Vernetta turns and sees, standing maybe 10, 15 feet away, a young girl.
Right, I need to try and understand something a bit now, Dave, because before I can roleplay further. When I was back when Canni talked to Vernetta before that Vernetta told her that Canni needed to destroy the AI, which I presume is Alisa. So Vernetta hates AI, so she hates Alisa. But then in a session after that, she was like, "Oh, Canni, you need to protect, she needs saving or whatever." So I'm getting conflicting information as to how Vernetta feels, what she thinks about.
Okay, the best way to deal with that is to tell you a little bit about Vernetta. Vernetta is not pure Mechanicus. Vernetta was drawn into the Mechanicus without explaining too much. She was taken against her will and raised in the Mechanicus. She doesn't have a great love for the Mechanicus, but she does have some indoctrination. So she knows AI is bad, but she also knows a little bit about what AI is, and she's not 100% convinced that this is AI. For a start, you have learned that this was the daughter of Lord Elden, Alisa. And AI, abominable intelligence, is basically a machine that has been created and given sentience. Whereas what Alisa is a young girl taken, a psyker taken and embedded into a machine, taken from her family and her father. Vernetta was also taken from her family and her father. So Vernetta has learnt a little about Alisa and maybe thinks they aren't too dissimilar.
Okay.
She also is very aware that she could be wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna walk up to the young girl.
Okay.
And what am I going to say? Let's say, hello, I'm Vernetta.
I know, Vernetta Calamere, born on Forge World Het. I know exactly who you are.
Welcome to the mansion. Are you Are you making yourself comfortable here?
She looks around at this vast plain of grassy field as though she can see what you're talking about and says, "No, it's very strange. It isn't like any machine I've ever encountered before."
There is a little problem. You seem to be draining quite a lot of power from the mansion, and our defenses are down. We need to become secure. Is there anything you can do?
She cocks her head sideways and goes, and sort of looks at you for a moment with a little grin on her face and goes, "Secure? Who are you protecting yourselves against? Have you been naughty?"
Well, some people do believe we have been naughty, like your father.
The sky darkens, lightning flashes, and heavy rain begins to fall. And she seems to grow and get taller and more intimidating, and her eyes become black pits surrounded by lightning. She goes, "What do you know about my father?"
He's trying to hurt us. He sent men to kill us. They came in through the front door. They've tried to kill everybody.
The storm continues, and she looks out over to the west, and you see a mountain form. And this mountain looks unnatural. It looks like it was carved rather than forming naturally over eons. And she watches it for a moment and then turns and looks at you. Make a willpower test for plus 30.
Pardon me.
You feel like Vernetta's encountered, without delving into too much stuff that you wouldn't know, Vernetta's encountered humans of unnatural will before. You feel like what she's using right now is something similar to that, a power of the mind, and she's trying to intimidate you. But Vernetta is not so easily cowed. She understands that this is an illusion. This is a trick of the mind. This is happening purely within her enhanced brain and that of Alisa's. She's not afraid of what Alisa is trying to do. And Alisa looks down on you, and at this point she's about 30 foot tall, but she still looks like a little girl. And she says, "What do you want from me? Do you wish to make me do things for you too?"
Oh no. We need to work together. It's not safe. We need to make the mansion safe again. You're taking too much power. It's draining from the other systems.
Make a fellowship test at plus 30.
Oh, fate point time. Dice roll 1.
Well, in that case, suddenly the storm stops, the mountain recedes, and Vernetta shrinks back down to a girl, and she looks younger than she did the first time you encountered her. She was maybe an early teenager, the first time you encounter her in this realm. But now she's 7, 8 years old. And she says, "Please, Vernetta, I don't want to. I don't want to make the weapons no more. Can you make Father stop making me make the weapons?"
You'll be safe here in the mansion with us. You'll never have to make these cursed servitors for your father again. In fact, your father will meet his end. I promise you this. I'm sure of it.
The small 7 or 8-year-old girl, who she looks like just any other girl right now, suddenly darkens and her eyes glow with a brilliant electric blue fire. And behind her, you see these structures come up out of the ground, and they're curved. They have unusual angles, and they have these oval-shaped red gems embedded in them. And she says, "Father will pay."
Oh yes. He'll pay. He'll pay for what he did.
"What is this?" And she gestures to the structures behind her.
No, what the fuck is it?
Do you have any forbidden law skills on Vernetta? I don't think she does.
Have a look. I'm pretty sure she does not have any forbidden law. She's a good girl. I'm not sure. Should I know?
She turns and walks towards one of the structures, and she reaches out a hand and just lays a hand on it. And as she does, it changes shape, and it collapses down into small fragments and then rebuilds itself. The first structure rebuilds itself into what looks like a desk not created for a human. It's too tall and a bit too wide. And then she goes and touches another, and it turns into would you know this? It turns into what looks like a waterborne craft of some kind with a sail. And then as she takes her hands off them, they go back into these tall structures with red crystals. And she says, I don't know either, but I can shape them, mold them. Who is Persephone?
Don't believe I've ever heard that name before.
You have not.
I don't know, but I can find out.
I would be so grateful if you could. And then she reaches out and puts an arm on your hand and says, Vernetta, I have a confession to make.
Go on. You can tell me anything. Did you kill people? Did you kill a lot of people?
No. When I came here inside your mind. I hope you're not angry.
No,
we are.
I figured as much. I can't be angry with you. You've suffered so much.
She reaches up and touches Vernetta's forehead and says, There's a hole. There's a hole in your mind. I got in through there. And as she lays a finger, make a willpower test at +20.
Wow.
Another, I think last one. I've used 2 so far, I believe.
Okay.
This is my last one, and it's a pass.
As she touches her finger to your forehead, your automatic defense systems, your firewalls kick in and realize that there is some sort of code, but it's incredibly complex. It's beyond anything Vernetta has ever encountered before, but by sheer force of will, Vernetta manages to keep it out. And the girl darts back and goes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. But Vernetta feels no pain, but she did feel like someone was trying to intrude on her thoughts.
So, Alisa, the power. We need to get the power back on.
Make a fellowship test at plus 30.
We have to work together.
She looks at you and smiles and says, "Oh, okay. Sorry for any inconvenience." And you feel this thrum of power passing through Vernetta's core. Meanwhile, everyone else in the house, suddenly, the lights come on, the doors close, the walls begin to rebuild themselves. Siegfried, in front of you, you see the fragments of bone on the floor shoot up and begin to fill the holes in the door, and they begin to fill in the gap.
By the God, Emperor, what is this sorcery?
Vernetta, Alisa turns to you and says, "You only had to ask."
I'll come and speak to you every day, if you like.
"I'd like that very much. I've been very lonely in that factory."
I'm sure. Surrounded with those cursed machines, they try to kill us. No. Yes, I shall come every day, and we shall get to know each other better.
Vernetta, and she reaches out and touches your arm,
Don't touch me.
but you don't feel any intrusion this time.
Okay.
And she says, "There was a man in the foundry."
Go on.
And then she closes her eyes and bows her head, and you see the grass of the field begin to flow and form into the structure of a man. And it starts off building the bone. And then, once it's built the skeleton, the nervous system, and then the veins, and then the flesh, and then the skin, and then the clothing, and then the armor of the man. And you see before you the image of Gaius Mortalis. It says, "Who is he?"
A friend. His name is Gaius. No, his name is Gaius. His name is Gaius.
She says, "He was very brave. He fought the demon beast that kept me there."
Yes, I fought it too. But yes, I mean, Gaius did do most of the heavy lifting, I'll admit.
And she changes again, and she becomes a small pile of stones, but it's almost like she's articulated stones with arms and legs. And she goes, "You should leave. We are not alone."
Dear. Okay. I will.
Hell does that mean?
It means the fucking Gribbler's coming with her as well. I'm gonna listen to her, I think.
You're going to what, sorry?
I think I'm gonna listen to her.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna listen to her. I'm gonna do the stupid thing. I'm gonna say, "What do you mean we're not alone?
The,
Where are we?
the stone
Who's
form. The stone form becomes bigger and says, "I can only protect you so long in here. Something is watching us. I can hold it off for a time, but you must be queer." And then suddenly, you're back in the generator room, jacked in to the generator.
I'm gonna unplug myself.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna comms into Mr. Mortalis. Power back on. Yes, it was straightforward.
The power is back on. Everywhere you are,
Brilliant work, Agent.
it's all back on.
Balamir. Canni, you have done an astounding job for the Emperor. You should be proud of yourself and take this glory home to any of your offspring, which may be.
Yes, I shall do that when I have some offspring. Yes, of course.
I would like Vernetta to make a willpower test at +10.
Stop with the willpower test.
Gaius invoked willpower test.
Yeah.
Do you say -10 or plus that? It's all right.
+10.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
Vernetta loses 3 insanity points.
Oh, wild.
Cool.
I think I'm going to head off to my workshop, Dave.
Okay. You leave the generator room, walk in the workshop, and it is a fucking state. The land speeder, the prow of the land speeder. I mean, the land speeder's on smoking a bit. There's smoke coming from the power cells, but the prow is wedged firmly in the viewport of the ground car, which otherwise seems unharmed. To one side, you see your very favourite hover servo lifter.
My
It's just
favourite of
clumped, yeah, crumpled on the stairs, sparks bouncing from it. The servo arm that you use to assist you in some of your work is a smoking wreck. Some of your workbench is destroyed, some of it's not. Most of your work seems okay, but it looks like someone has trashed all your equipment. It's going to take you a couple of days to repair this.
What a cunt.
What a prick. Okay. Where's everyone else at this moment? Siegfried.
Okay. Reload. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
reload.
go for a slash, guys.
Mhm.
Reloaded. I think. Move
Gather
back,
up.
move back to the door, and then just go into the main hall and just have a look around for weaponry and equipment and stuff.
Most of it has gone by now.
Yeah.
Les has been dragging stuff off, taking weapons and armor off the corpses. Canni has taken most of the corpses, but you notice that the walls, the columns, the floors that were stained with blood, las bolts, explosions, scorched tiles, all gone. The foyer is immaculate.
That's a pretty trick. I'm just going to take the las pistol out and have a look at it.
Okay. Have you got the talent for las pistols, Johnny?
I don't know if I do.
I mean, weapon talents.
I believe I've got I think I might have las. Primitive. No, I don't.
No, you don't know what it is. It's clearly a cut above your average las pistol, but you don't really know what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
I'm gonna go down to. I'm gonna head down to the armory and see if Big Bone Les does.
Okay. So you head down to the armory. Les is there, and he's got a big pile of flak armor taken from the bodies, and also a pile of weapons, very fancy las guns, a few more pistols like what you've seen. There's also a couple of grenade launchers, and he's grinding. He's got a grinder, and he's just grinding emblems off stuff. And he looks up at you and goes, "Oh, Agent Weislaw, you all right there, mate?" And as you look at his face, you see he looks a bit weary and a bit worse for wear, like he's on a bit of come down.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can give him a dose of wide awake really quickly in the neck.
You're outside the armory.
Right,
The armory's shut. There's like a little window and a door, but
I'm gonna basically go. Do you know what this is? Like that. And then I'm gonna get the pistol out.
he looks at it, and you see briefly one of his eyes sort of digitizes, like it's not human. And he scans over what you're showing him and goes, "Yeah, I know what that is."
Well, can you tell me?
Are you holding up what were you holding up, sorry?
The pistol, last pistol.
The pistol. He walks over to the slot and he reaches his arm through. He doesn't wait for you to drop the weapon in the slot. He reaches his arm through to take it from you.
Yeah.
He takes it and he pops out the clip, and there's 5 small bullet-shaped syringes in it with small
Right.
needles. He goes, "This is a ranged applicator of chemical creations. He holds one up to the light and goes, in particular, these are tranquilizers, Agent Weisslaw.
Really? Now that is interesting.
And he passes it back to you.
How intriguing. And I'm just going to take it and then I'm just going to holster it.
Okay.
That could come in handy.
So you now have a hypo pistol with 5 tranquilizers.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else I can do for you, Weisslaw?
Yeah. Have you got any sniper rifles? Because my last one suffered a nasty accident.
He shuffles off to the back of his room for a bit, and he comes back after a while and just goes, it's not, fuck it. And he walks round away from the slot, opens the door, and just steps out of the armory and holds you a sniper rifle.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't have a silencer or a scope of any kind or a red dot, but it is a sniper rifle.
Cool.
It's basically the sniper rifle you began the game with a year ago.
Cool. Okay, cool. That's all I want to do, really.
Okay. Gaius.
What was that gun called? Sorry, again.
Hypo pistol.
Hypo pistol. Great.
In fact, Gaius, just a sec. Let me grab a beer and have a wee.
Okay.
1 moment.
What?
Talking to the
I'm just going to mute myself while I'm eating.
Okay. Oh. I will come back to Canni eventually. So, Gaius.
Yes. Yes.
What would you like to be doing?
Right. So we're all in the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a bit fucked up. Is it around R&R time or?
Well, it's entirely up to you. Last we left you, you were still down in the basement.
Infirmary?
Sorry, you went to the infirmary, didn't you? And we got you healed. So wherever you'd like to go, whatever you'd like to do. It's if anyone's interested, it's about 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon right now.
All right. I'd like to go and just meditate and see if we can heal some more, rest and relax.
Okay.
At the moment.
Ah! So where are you off to do that?
I'm going to go to my room.
Okay.
I'm going to shut myself off for a little bit.
All right. From the infirmary to your room. Let me just check something. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do some prayers to the Emperor in that time as well.
Yeah.
And
No problem.
all the other stuff you expect guys to be doing. Like whipping himself.
Flagellating. Okay.
Yes, kind of flagellate.
You
Don't
can.
flagellate for a while.
You can make a weapon skill test.
Gonna flagellate with my strong arm as well.
You rip it off.
Gonna rip it off like nobody's
For the
ever
Emperor.
seen. You know, call it penis mortalis. Oh, get this up again.
That's what she said.
Guys, character sheet. It's the one we're rolling for now after all that. Weapon skill.
Weapon skill to start with. Not because, I mean, you obviously aren't going to miss. It's just to see if you make a
Standard one, is it?
worthwhile attack. Yeah. Okay. And then I want a toughness test as well, please.
Wow. Yep.
Awesome.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Canni?
I'm going to take out my bottle of blush.
Uh-huh.
Have a swag.
Okay.
I'm going to comms to Gladstock.
Just before you do that, will you make a toughness test, please? Plus 30.
Sec. Go straight to my head.
Yeah. You feel a little tipsy. You're at minus 10. You're also a rather pale shade of green right now. So you're coming glablob. Glablob, speak. Glablob, hello. Okay, what would you like to say, to Gladstock? Fuck me.
Gladstock, could I have a word? Where are you exactly?
Where is Gladstock? Where was he last? He says,
Heading off with a fucking rack of lamb at one point.
he says, I'm in Mrs. Kitchen, Canni.
Oh.
I'm going to head off to the kitchen.
Okay. After a few minutes, you enter the kitchen. Missy's there, cradling Thomas as you walk in. She's leaving the room as you enter, and she just turns and glances at you and goes, "Oh, hello, Canni."
Well, I'm going to tug my forelock a bit. And go,
Okay. She says, I'm
glad to see you all right.
She said, I'm fine, thank you. I'm just going to put Thomas to bed. And then she heads.
When she says that.
No, Thomas seems immune to it. And she puts Thomas. She leaves the room to put Thomas to bed, and you see Gladstock is standing there with a frying pan over the stove. Some sort of meat in the pan with a few onions and mushrooms, and by the side of him is a butcher's block and the cleaver you saw him with earlier, and a hunk of meat with a bone sticking out of it. And he looks at you as you enter and goes, "What can I do for you, Canni?"
Yeah, don't be shy with a pepper, will you, Gladstock?
He smirks and reaches for the pepper.
I had a question. Like before she left, Mistress Mesmeron, she told me I needed to relocate the mansion.
He sort of pauses for a moment in his cooking and says, "Yes, Canni, I think we do need to relocate the mansion."
What on earth does that mean? How on earth can you move a fucking mansion?
He carries on. He sort of shuffles his meat and mushrooms and onions around his pan for a minute, glances at you, gets 2 plates, scrapes half onto one plate, half onto the other, walks over the table, puts 1 plate one side, 1 plate in front of him, sits down, produces a fork, puts one plate, one by his own, gestures for you to join him and eat from the plate.
Okay, I will do. I'm just going to ignore the fork. Just use my hands.
He starts to eat quite politely. It looks like he's maybe a bit more refined than what Canni is. And he says,
Really?
I can show you how to move the mansion. I would be glad to assist of such a thing. Just a second. I'm just trying to find a file. And he looks at you. Canni is just sharing this meal, and it's incredibly good. It tastes beautiful. It's one of the finest meals based on meat that you have ever eaten. And he says, I do not pretend to know how the mansion works. I have asked Inquisitor Mesmeron many times over the years, and she has so far neglected to answer me. One thing I do know is that there are 2 doors. One is here, and the other is aboard the Reckless Endeavor. It is hidden from sight by some technology I cannot begin to fathom, and it only allows access to those the Inquisitor wishes to gain entry. The second door on the Reckless Endeavor has a range to it. It must be near the first door to be able to use it. Those with the authority to enter, as dictated by the Inquisitor, can simply pass through it and enter the mansion, but those who do not have the authority are unable to access the door at all. They will find themselves passing into whatever access way the mansion's door should lead to. For example, anyone passing into the Joytown door here will simply find themselves in an empty room of the 13th hostel, while those passing through the door aboard the Reckless will enter a small supply closet aboard the vessel. It's the perfect hideout, Canni. We can remove small devices from around the door and place them wherever we wish, and they will lead us here, home.
Well, I'm not going to pretend to understand. What do I have to do? What? If I'm going to move the door, what do I need?
He looks at you and smiles and says, let's finish our meal.
So you don't need to tell me twice.
I
I have to say, I'll take it all back. I'll take it all back. All those bad words I said about you, what everyone else says about you, it's not true. You're a good lad. You're a good lad, Gladstock. And you make a fine plate of meat and onions.
He smiles as you say this, and he carries on eating and says, like I said before, Canni, you and I are not so different. Do you think anything goes on around here that I don't know about? Or the Inquisitor, for that matter?
I guess not.
Both Antonio and I learned long ago to tolerate the quirks of others. I suggest you learn to do the same.
I'm learning. I've learned quite a lot since joining your little group. It's been quite interesting, all things considered.
He shovels in an alarming amount of meat in a very quick time, and swallows it, and says, please understand, Canni, I am not threatening you. I am merely offering you some advice to make your life easier. You've made it quite clear how you feel about me. And frankly, I don't care. All I ask from you is your respect, your understanding that I, like you, am not like many of the others here. I have earned my place here countless times through my service to the Imperium, to the Inquisition, and to Antonia Mesmeron. I have her ear, and she has my counsel. You would do well to remember that.
I'm going to try not to be outdone and to eat an equivalent amount of meat in the same period of time. I don't want to be outdone here. I'm going to say, look, it was just the worm face that did it for me. You know, I mean, you understand. I've never met a man with a face full of fucking magic before. It was a bit off-putting. But, you know, I'm willing to put that to one side. You know, I've got to know you a bit, Gladstock, and you do make a nice fried onion.
He stops and puts down his fork, stands up, walks across the room, opens a cupboard, comes back with 2 bottles, and he holds out the 2 bottles, and they're clearly bottles of some sort of ale. And the first one, he just puts the top into his torso, pushes it into the flesh of his torso, and goes, "Psst, psst," and holds one out to you.
It'd be rude not to accept.
And he sits down and says, I thought in time you would come around, Canni. And he looks around the room and says, not everyone here is exactly what they seem. I'm sure you can understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, that Gaius, something more about him than meets the eye. He can't be fucking trusted. That's what I think.
He holds up the bottle.
He's got to be fucking trusted.
He holds up the bottle and says, "Oh, Mr. Mortalis. Oh, he can be trusted. You just know how far you have to trust him." And he raises the bottle towards you.
Cheers, Gladstock. I never foresaw this happening, by the way.
And he clinks your bottle and says, "To differences."
To differences, indeed.
And then he drinks.
I'll knock it all back.
As for the mansion, it may take more than merely you or I, but I will show you how to move the mansion. And once you know how to move the mansion, it becomes much more useful.
Yeah, I've been having some hard thinks about that, and I've got just the place.
And he looks at you for a moment, and you notice that he looks incredibly human right now. Again, he's reverted back once more to his pure human form, and he smiles. Make a willpower test at +10.
What, to resist his lovely
To resist his charm.
Oh dear.
There's
Canni's
something
getting
about his smile that seems a little off. It looks incredibly well practiced, this smile. It looks like this is the kind of man who knows how to manipulate people, how to turn on the charm just when it's needed. And it's unsettling because you know what he really is. You've seen it, you've experienced it, and you've been told this is not a human. And then he turns and grabs the table for a moment and goes, and he breaks off a big chunk of the table and then lets it go, and it rebuilds itself. And he says, whatever this material is, it is incredibly tough, but not unbreakable. It has the capacity for self-repair. I'm sure you've noticed this before. The doors can be moved by anyone authorized by the Inquisitor and can be hidden from sight easily. They're very difficult to detect by most standard Auspex arrays. The mansion is an incredible piece of technology, although it does have one weakness. Their doors can only be moved from the outside. In other words, we must leave the mansion, remove the door, and take it to another suitable location. And find a new access point for the door before we can return. While we are doing this, we may be observed. So when you come to move the door, Canni, We must take every precaution to ensure our new site for the door remains hidden from our enemies. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand. I'm clever.
He says, I have only left this mansion twice since returning to Mesmeron's side, so I will defer to you. Any ideas where we should place the door?
Yeah, I thought we'd maybe go down hive.
Make a fellowship test at +20.
Ah.
He says, down hive would give us the advantage of being less noticeable, but I fear it would be maybe more dangerous. I haven't fed her. And he says, perhaps we should discuss this as a group.
Yeah, I mean, so you're in charge, Gladstock, if you say so. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't trust me.
Canni, it's not about trust, and nor am I in charge. It's about experience and passing on what I know. We need to.
Discuss it then. We'll discuss it, yeah. I'm sure they'll come round to my way of thinking.
I'm sure they will. Time is it? 1:45. Okay. There's a voice in the comm beads of all of you. Everyone that isn't a fucking vegetable in the infirmary. And it says, all acolytes, briefing room, now.
Okay.
The voice of Inquisitor Mesmeron. It's about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Are you all going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to my room first.
Okay. So you head back to your room. Gladstock does head with you part of the way, but he heads off towards the briefing room on his own. What are you doing in your room?
Going to have a double hit of Obscura.
Okay, give me a toughness test. So you've already failed one test, haven't you, with your blush? So give me a toughness test at -10. Sorry, +10.
All right. That's Vernetta.
I think is my stim going to wear off soon, Dave?
Oh, it's worn off by now. You're pretty fucked up. Yeah, you're very tired.
I'm going to take a dose of wide awake. I think.
I wouldn't waste it personally, Johnny.
Yeah.
It's something for a combat situation. You're just very tired. You're in the mansion. You're safe. I wouldn't use it, honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
It does have its downsides.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can visit the infirmary as well in this time if you want.
Yeah, I'll get to the infirmary, and I've got Medicaid, so I want to see if there's any medicals, like a Medikit or anything like that, I can have access to, and try and patch myself up a little bit.
Okay, so when you turn up at the infirmary, Pench will patch you up to some extent. Let me just 35. So that's 70. 5.
So -2.
3. So you're back up to 1 wound.
Okay.
If you want to change that, you can't be healed beyond that for a while. But in 2 days, you can receive extended care again, because that was the last time you received extended care, was almost a week ago. If you ask Pench, let me just check something. No, he's currently out of medkits, unfortunately.
Okay. No worries.
But he is making some. But he's only halfway through it. So Canni. Oh, sorry, Siegfried.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go and put. I made my body glove and stuff as well, but I think I'm just gonna go and put something smart on.
Okay.
The briefing, just to make myself look presentable.
Okay. Cool. Gaius, are you heading to the briefing after your flagellating?
Yes, I've flagellated myself out.
Okay.
And yes, I'll be heading on up to the briefing.
Canni, you've I need to make a note of that. That was a double hit, yeah?
Double hit, please.
You're okay. But yeah. You're all right. You're not particularly fucked up, but you're having a good, nice chill on the Obscura. It's kind of
Okay.
cool.
Then I'll head off to the briefing.
Okay. After a while, a great many of you end up in the briefing room, which is Inquisitor Mesmeron's study. Not everyone. Otto, Trantia, and Titulos aren't there because, well, they pretty much died. But everyone else is there except for Missy and Thomas. But the rest of you, all the acolytes in this room on this map, you should be able to see this room that looks like a bit of an office over to the far left of the room. And when everyone assembles, Inquisitor Mesmeron is sitting behind her desk. She's in a plain grey body glove, and she's normally much more glamorous or well-armoured than this, but she seems to be wearing a very utilitarian body glove. Although you do notice her hair has been cut. It's a little bit shorter and tidier, although it's clearly tied back. It's obvious she's had something done to her hair. And she looks you all over as a group and says, I have had some time. While I have been planning tomorrow night's dinner to think over the events of the last few days, I think I have begun to piece some things together. She glances at the lamp on her desk and says, we'll deal with this Alisa, Lord Elden, and the mansion in time. But first, and her eyes are cast down for a moment, and you feel like maybe there's a little bit of shame coming from her. She says, Gladstock, before I collapsed, you accused me of keeping things from you all. Firstly, I am not beholden to you. You serve me, not the other way around. I allow you access to knowledge and information I deem you worthy of knowing, or that I decide is vital to the tasks which I set. Is that understood? And Gladstock cowers. Goes, yes, Inquisitor.
Snigger.
And you all see Gladstock visibly cower before Mesmeron. And then she says, that being said, recent events have led me to conclude that the truth of what is going on is hidden from me also. And I find that infuriating. And in the distance, you hear the clap of thunder. What I'm getting at is, I understand your frustration, your confusion at being kept in the dark, and with that in mind, perhaps it's time for some more truth. Felroth Gelt was once a loyal and highly decorated member of the Ordos. He served the Inquisition for almost 300 years. He was considered a Puritan, incorruptible. His journals were issued to younger Inquisitors and Acolytes to impart the vast knowledge of hunting the enemies of the Imperium that he had learnt in his time. And then he changed sides. He was declared a radical and a heretic by the Tricorn Palace. Quite what prompted this decision is a closely guarded secret, one I am not privy to, but after his denunciation, Gelt became a rather agonizing thorn in the side of the Ordos and the sector at large. And you get the idea that when Mesmeron says denunciation, she's a little bitter about this word, almost as if she's experienced the same thing herself.
Because she has.
Yeah. He uses worlds already on the precipice of disaster and insurrection. He summons demons, sows discord, and plants the seeds of rebellion and then vanishes. His reasons for these unspeakable acts are his own. He has never bothered to hang around to give an explanation. And he is always one step ahead of anyone who hunted him. His pursuers would arrive to find one of his atrocities, but were always too late to prevent them, or to catch him in the act. I have hunted Felroth Gelt for almost 40 years, and since he killed Inquisitor Arcturos, my former master. Everyone make an awareness test at +10.
Is it site-based?
Yeah. Johnny,
Yeah.
Siegfried notices when she mentions Inquisitor Arcturos that Gladstock stiffens. He comes to attention a little bit more. He stood behind the desk by Inquisitor Mesmeron's side. But Gaius, you catch a brief glimmer of light. Comes from somewhere over to your left.
Where on my left? Where?
You don't know exactly. You notice the same thing that as Mesmeron says about Inquisitor Arcturos, Gladstock stiffens, but you also notice a brief shimmer of light to one side, but you can't tell where it's coming from.
Message from
Mesmeron goes
Bill.
on, and he says, like those who came before me, I was always a little too late to catch up to Gelt. I was never coming close to him. I spent much of my time trying to undo the horrors he had wrought. That is, until I arrived on Desalium 10 years ago. I came here hunting a serial killer who I believed was attempting to carry out a sacrifice, a very symbolic sacrifice, with the intention of summoning something from the warp. Ordinarily, I might have looked upon the matter as beneath me, something for the Arbites or the Hereticus to deal with, but there was mention in the initial reports from Desalium that this killer had used some form of mind control to bypass security systems and fool the local law enforcement. A favoured tactic of Felroth Gelt. Although we were unsure how he had achieved his mind control at that time, Gelt is no psyker. We believed he was achieving this control through some technological means, but we never found any evidence. Of course, you know by now that we stopped Gelt's plan on Desalium, but at great cost. I lost the entirety of my team, Gelt escaped, and I was badly injured, which led to me spending significant time in the carnival, where I met Seraph and a very young Canni. When I finally recovered, and when my resolve to continue my hunt returned, I left the carnival, and I left Desalium. I took Seraph with me, and had my hunt continue. When I returned back to Scintilla, I took Seraph and had her trained. This might seem callous to some of you, that I would use this young woman in such a way, but I was given little choice. Seraph and I had grown very close in my months in the carnival. She begged to come with me when I left. Honestly, I thought I would die down there in that carnival, and I had told her far too much. When I returned to the Tricorn, Lord Caden was furious. I had allowed my personal feelings to compromise what he deemed the operational security of the Holy Ordos. He forbid my relationship with Seraph and gave me a choice: to give Seraph over for mind cleansing, or to turn her into a weapon, or to give up her life. I chose the former. A few years went by. We ended up on Protasia. Gelt was once again up to his old tricks, using a Gestalt demonic entity to enslave the population to his will. We defeated him, but he fled again, capturing Seraph in the process. He bound within Seraph the demon Spear. Theranos pipes up, "Yeah, fucking mad times those." Mesmeron continues. He sets Seraph loose on Laskin in the upper hive, where she murdered her way through several hundred members of the nobility. I believe he did this to buy us time and vanish again. I think he knew my feelings towards Seraph. He used her as bait to draw me off his scent. And as he predicted, I failed in my duty to the Golden Throne, going after Seraph instead of Gelt. I also believe he predicted that I would attempt the exorcism on Seraph. Like I said, he's a master tactician, always one step ahead. In hindsight, Seraph's exorcism was surprisingly easy. Of course, that now makes sense. I believe Seraph was booby-trapped. Some implanted trigger lay within my mind. When I released her from Spear, the trap activated. It broke me. It made me feel like a failure, like I could no longer stand any more loss. Arcturus, Gladstock, the team on Desalium, Seraph, and my... She goes silent for a moment. I had lost so much. I had learned to handle the loss many years ago, but this trigger, this spell, for want of a better word, it felt real. I realize now that was Gelt. He put that idea, that sense of despair into my mind. In my melancholy, I hid. For almost 2 years I hid in this mansion on Scintilla, until the day the files of Inquisitor Varrak found their way into my cogitator. Shortly before I discovered those files, I was paid a visit by Inquisitor Soldavan. I had completely forgotten about that until I awoke in the infirmary this morning. It seems like a strange thing to forget, does it not? Soldavan told me that Lord Zerbe had invited me to join the Tyrantine Cabal again, a group of deluded fools who obsess over some vague prophecy of a black star. I declined again. Zerbe knows better. He knows I put no stock in this nonsense. Why would he send Soldavan to invite me to join a group I had repeatedly refused to join? Especially considering my status was currently classified as inactive. Zerbe's message was a ruse. Gladstock, when did you return to my service? Gladstock looks at Inquisitor Mesmeron and says, about a year ago, Inquisitor. No, you did not, Gladstock. You returned that same day, 2 months ago, with Soldavan. He did something to you, to us. He confused our minds. Do you recall my malaise over the last year? Do you remember how I locked myself away in my room for days at a time? Yes, Inquisitor. No, I remember my cell. I remember my cell in Bastion Serpentis, and you see black blood begin to flow from Gladstock's nostrils. Mesmeron pushes on regardless. Soldavan planted but false memories in both of us, Gladstock. Whatever he did to me broke the feeling of despair Gelt had placed over me. Soldivan's power never lay in that particular field of the psychic arts, and yet now it seems it does. Gladstock, before I collapsed in my study, you asked me when I first encountered the black metal. What did I say? 10 years ago, a year ago, you seemed confused, says Gladstock. Neither is true. It is true I was here on Desolium 10 years ago, but I never encountered any black metal devices. The first mention I heard of them was in Varroc's files, and after that appeared Soldivan. He visited me. It seems from Varroc's files that a team of junior acolytes recovered a black cylinder from a crashed shuttle, and a pet tech priest of Varroc's discovered this device was capable of luring greenskins, mind control over Xenos. Orc spores were found with this device. Varroc speculated someone was attempting to unleash an orc horde in Hive Sibyllus. Mind control, Gladstock. Mind control. It's the work of Gelt. His fingerprints were all over it. Gladstock begins to stream black blood from his nose. After that day, my vigor was renewed to hunt Gelt. Why? In those files of Varroc's, I saw an unpursued lead regarding the black cylinder pointing at Dramar district. I saw the file on Gaius, a file created by Inquisitor Lystug, whoever he is. I sent Siegfried to assist Mortalis in pursuing the lead Varroc had been unable to follow due to the standing orders of this invisible Inquisitor Lystug to not interfere with Dramar district. When the trail went dead after Lord Hilaris's estate collapsed, I sent Mortalis, Von Morton and Calamir to the Pandora station to steal the cylinder. Why? That is not like me. That is reckless. I'm smarter than that, am I not, Gladstock? Gladstock is doubled over right now. Black ichor just pooling beneath his feet and disappearing completely. Soldivan made me do it. Whatever power he now has, the same power that broke Gelt's spell. I've only ever encountered that power once. The power to influence people and place false memories. It has only ever existed once before. Where, Gladstock? Where have I encountered that power? Gladstock coughs and splutters and goes, Arcturus! And he vomits black blood. Indeed, Gladstock, Inquisitor Arcturus, my master, my lover. Soldivan was there again after Pandora. Do you recall? Mortalis, Calamir, Von Morton, you were there. Do you remember what he said? Do you remember what he said?
Oh.
Gaius, Siegfried, and Alan on behalf of Vernetta make an intelligence roll.
Oh dear. With a -50, I've lost the plot. Oh my god. That's about normal.
Yeah.
No, my lady.
Oh, be remembered. He mentioned he had just returned from Desolium. The memory of being on Desolium a year ago. The memory of having seen the black metal before. It's not my memory. It's Soldivan's. He tried to merge it with my memories of Desolium from a decade ago. It seems it hasn't worked as well as he hoped. That's why I was confused the day I collapsed. There were two sets of memories competing for dominance. Somehow, Soldavan broke Gelt's spell over me and caused me to act in a manner that would set me up to appear as a heretic and a thief, and then he clouded my mind of his actions and steered me here to Desalium to hunt Gelt once more. He is behind my denunciation. He is behind it all, but why? When Soldavan's illusion crumbled, I collapsed. I heard a girl speaking to me. She told me she could help me, that my mind was entangled, and that I had the power to untangle it, but first she must destroy it. Yes, comes a voice from the Vox speaker. That was me. You seemed very confused. Someone's been playing in your head. I made the dummy man give you the drugs that damaged your brain. Right where your memories are stored. And you realize it's Alisa. Mesmeron looks alarmed, looks around for a moment, says, Ah, the girl from the foundry. Yes, hello. I erased everything. I destroyed your brain. Then you regenerated it. I thought you'd be able to do that. It says in your files that you have unparalleled regenerative and biological manipulative abilities. You have read my files, says Mesmeron. Yes, I've read everyone's files. Right, everyone out. Alisa, perhaps we can chat for a while. Miss Calamere says you have been rather lonely. Oh, I'd like that very much, Miss Machenko. What? Says Inquisitor Mesmeron. She looks alarmed, then rapidly retains her composure. Please, Alisa, call me Antonia. Inquisitor Antonia Mesmeron is my name. That's not what it says here. Out! All of you out! Right now! Gladstock and the other acolytes jump to their feet and begin to file out. What do you guys do?
Oh, wait a second. I want to hear this.
I'm going to tug on my forelock and obey.
Okay. Gaius? We've lost Hayden. Hayden!
No, you haven't lost me.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing, to be honest. I was drifting. I was up early, but I'm always up early. No excuse.
Are you leaving or are you hanging around?
I'm gonna try hang around to the end of the game, but
No, I mean in the game. Are you leaving Mesmeron's office or are you hanging around?
I forgot what Mesmeron said to us.
Alisa seems to know Mesmeron by a different name.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is Thieves Guild. She's a dick snitch. All right. Yeah, that'll do me. I'm happy with that.
So what are you doing? Are you staying or are you leaving?
I'm gonna leave.
Okay, Siegfried?
Hide in the corner, Siegfried. No one will ever.
Can I try and conceal myself in the corner by unremarkable abilities?
Yeah, of course you can. You can make stealth roll if you want.
I'm going to do that.
There's a lot of people in the room. You might be able to blend in.
Okay. See if I can do that then. So, concealment, isn't it? And then I'll just like, and I'll just walk out.
So everyone else leaves. You try and lurk around by the door for a bit. Mesmeron just glares at you.
Just gonna put my hands up and just like that, like, and then back out the door.
Oh, me!
As you leave, the other acolytes are a good 20, 30 meters down the corridor, and you're still lingering a bit. You were a bit slower. You do get to hear one final exchange between Inquisitor Mesmeron and the spirit of Lord Elden's daughter. And you hear Mesmeron say, Now, Alisa, isn't it? Perhaps we should begin by discussing the concept of secrecy and confidentiality. And you hear Alisa's voice once more. And it says, okay, but I'd like to know more about Persephone. And what's a famulous marriage? And then the door slams shut behind you. And that's where we leave it.